All right, we are live for the Saturday morning show for Pump Fake for the mega slate we got going on today. How many games do we got today? Only 144 I'm seeing. Sure,
Only.
this is probably off a little bit, but
Only
light day.
a lot of bye weeks for some teams this week. I noticed.
Yeah, those are starting up, but beneficial for a lot of teams here. So I think I'm actually using that angle today too. I think teams going on a bye are gonna pull a little bit out of the extra out of the gas tank today, and get some upsets. I think it's gonna be a crazy day, per usual, but I can feel it in my bones. I guess, is there anything that we want to start with? Anybody got anything that I don't know, some a team or anything that they're eyeballing or angles that they're eyeballing today, or should we just hop right into the picks?
I think we just hop right into it. I hate to start on a somber note. R.I.P. Lefty Driesel. I mean, absolute coaching legend. Just saw the news from, of course, John Rothstein broke it first, but hate to start off on that note. So R.I.P. to college basketball legend, CBB Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hate to start off on a bad note there, but so we can turn that around. But I haven't. I don't have anything like systematically for this week. I just have some games scattered across, maybe some contradictions on my plays, but there's enough games that you're able to do that, right, on a Saturday. So.
Oh, 100%. And yes, there are definitely angles that we're going to talk about with some of these teams, but I think the just natural flow going through the games and then building up the angles is where to go.
Oh yeah, we'll just hop into it. You guys, 11 a.m. or 12 for you, Huff. What do we got? Anybody have anything in this window? I think me and you are actually lock battling, Rob.
Well, let's hear the lock. Let's hear the lock battle then, and I'll chime in.
I got 2 bets in this window, so you gotta lead the way, Trev.
All right. We're going TCU at Kansas State here. Let me find my fucking
oh baby
chicken scratch here. Oh, there it is. All right. Now, Kansas State. Kansas State is actually, in my opinion, I know you look at the record lately, they haven't done shit. The last 6 have been, they're 1-5. But if you go back to the last 2, they beat Kansas, big game. We were on Kansas, and then they went to BYU, and they pulled it out of their ass somehow down, I don't even know, 17 or something. Maybe this had a little bit to contribute to BYU, but I like what I saw from Kansas State there. They didn't give up. They were getting mollywopped the entire game, and about the last 5 minutes, they made a little push here and run, and they actually had this game within 2 points, I believe, after they're down almost 20. So they scratched and clawed back, and they've been playing pretty damn well. Their defense is also fucking top notch. They're number 1 in the conference with opponent effective field goal, 2-point percentage, and 3-point percentage on defense. So they foul a little bit, which I'm kind of, not a big fan of, which will send TCU to the line here. But they're shooting 68% from the line. Kansas State's uber desperate, losing all of these 5 of the last 6. But like I said, the last 2, they've been really tough. I think they're going to, excuse me, I think they're going to give TCU a game at home here. Tang and company are really desperate to hang in here and not get the doors blown off of them down the stretch. I think they want to be a little bit more competitive going into March. So I'm on Kansas State here to get it done in the Octagon of Doom. Yeah, I mean, Tyler Perry, he's going to be the X factor again, per usual. If he's going to be a turnover machine, they're going to lose by fucking 20. But if he can minimize the turnovers, they're going to be able to dish the ball and get some open shots against this defense. So it's a Tyler Perry bet. If he's going to be classic turnover guy lately, they'll be in trouble. But if he gets that game where he actually plays smart, like he's shown he can do at times this year, I think they can beat TCU at home here.
So here's the thing with Kansas State, they are a really simple handicap where it's Tyler Perry going to have a good game or is he not going to have a good game, and that kind of goes for teams like Western Carolina too, or even last year with like Detroit Mercy, teams that just have a ball dominant guard, where their scoring runs through and just like their consistency overall runs through. And I hate that dynamic, one. So usually I just kind of avoid those teams unless I see a fadeable angle. But on the TCU side of things, like they have the guards to actually like ball up on him, get up in his grill, and force those turnovers that he has sometimes struggled with as well. And TCU, from just an athletic standpoint across the board, whether they're switching people onto him or just kind of guarding man to man, they can play whatever they really want under Jamie Dixon. And I really do love just kind of the profile of this TCU team, which is why I liked them last week against Iowa State. Obviously, Iowa State is just they're so evolved offensively this year that so many guys are getting it done, and it just kind of killed TCU down the stretch. But physicality wise, they were not outmatched in that game. So I really do think they're going to be able to bring it here on the road. And Kansas State, this is just one of those years that I think they're just going to flush in the Jerome Tang era if everything kind of goes smoothly. But this doesn't feel like a good team. So I'm all over TCU. I don't really believe in the home favor here. They're the slight home pick 'em, whatever you want to call it.
I think I'm going to go with the lower Manhattan, the little Manhattan. This is one that I had in my notepad for Kansas State, but I haven't finalized it yet. Completely agree. I think, the home is the home dog, or not home dog, home favorite's the angle, but I hate seeing Kansas State as a favorite. I've watched them play and they've really they've underwhelmed me. What up, Nick? So yeah, I'd have to lean Kansas State there. I don't know if I'll bet it in this window, but we'll enjoy the lock battle between you two to find out who the better purple team is in the Big 12.
What's going on, Nick?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, dude, you good?
Here, I'm on TCU.
TCU, all right. Well, 50-50.
All right, I got to make it a tag team then. Let's do it, Schoolie. I'll make it a tag team match. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, we got 2 guys on TCU, 2 guys on K-State. So
love it.
We've already given you a winner on the show. Just depends who you follow and what the result is, but I already got a winner dished out.
That's how we do it.
Rob, what else do you have in this window? I know you said you had multiple plays.
Yep. I'm taking a look at Creighton Butler. And listen, a lot of people are eyeing kind of potential revenge spot for Creighton because they are seemingly the better team in this matchup. Well, I actually don't think they're the better team in this matchup. I think Creighton's kind of living off of the hype of what last year brought them. And listen, this is still a good team, but Butler under Thad Matta, this team feels like the closest thing we've had to the Brad Stevens era that I can remember. And even, Chris Holtmann had some good teams, but those teams always kind of felt like they were losing a little bit of something, when I think this Butler team has some dynamics across the board that just make it feel like old school Butler. So I think they're going to get done here. I think Hinkle Fieldhouse for the first time in a few years is going to be absolutely up on a Saturday against a top 25 team. And I don't think we're even going to have to split this one after they dropped that last one on the road, or at home rather. So give me Butler, lock it up. This is one of my favorite bets of the day.
Nick, do you got anything in this game, or just
No, I just know that the last time these guys played, it was a fucking barn burner. What was it, like 99, 98 or something? It was
in regulation, no OT.
Yep. Yeah, it was a sick game. So it's definitely going to be on. But no, I didn't have enough in my brain to pick a side or a total on this one, so I just stayed off.
I'll tell you a bet that I'm going to get burned on early. It's Texas A&M +8. I took them at 8.5. I don't know why, but I just, for some reason, was like, I think it's too many points. I love betting this team, but also hate it at the same time. They just lost to Vanderbilt, so it's pretty embarrassing. But, I mean, how do you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, let's go get our ass kicked? I know they're on the road. Alabama's a good team. That Alabama can be up by 30 in the first 2 minutes of the ball game. But I think they're going to play some desperate ball, and they've been historically well on Saturdays this season. So I'm taking them to at least cover. I don't expect them to win. That's really my only bet. And maybe now Kansas State. I have to make a Kansas State, Trevor. So let's go.
Hell yeah, let's roll. Another big one in this window, Wake Forest at Virginia. I know I think most of us are on Virginia one way or another. I have them first half. It's kind of just a double revenge spot for them. They lost to Wake Forest earlier this year. I think they lost by like 19. They got embarrassed, and then the last game at UVA, Wake Forest won by 8 points. So that was last year. So I think there's a little bit of a double revenge game here. Virginia's starting to roll. I know they just dropped their last game, but prior to that, they've been cruising through some teams here. So Wake Forest, Virginia at home has also just been a whole nother animal. They're cranking it up at home. They're jumping on teams first half, and then they're getting dubs, but they're kind of letting teams in second half. So my whole angle was just backing them on the double revenge angle first half here. I may double down here on full game -3, but I'm actually locked into the first half -1.5 for Virginia. I think they're gonna get it done here. Wake Forest on the road has kind of been a little meh, and Virginia, like I said, has been rolling lately, getting it going. So I'm going to take their suffocating defense and Tony Bennett at home first half to get it done and have a lead by a bucket.
Go Hoos.
Yeah. Man, that line, it feels short, doesn't it? Like, I don't know why it's sitting there when it should be 5.5. Because usually they carry around the same kind of billing as like a North Carolina or Duke in terms of just where odds makers set their lines, especially when they're at home. And all of a sudden against Wake Forest, I mean, Wake Forest is having a better year, and Steve Forbes has been on the cusp of getting over that hump for some time, but they haven't done it yet. And 2.5. Oh, this is a game that I'm staying away from just purely based on that, because I agree with you guys. I think Virginia's a better team. I think Virginia could run the table and nobody would be surprised. But at the same time, somebody knows something, I feel like, with that game, and I'm not dabbling.
Yeah, I leaned Virginia just because, but I've watched them burn me a lot this year, and I just can't stand watching them this year personally. I know they've kind of came along in ACC and built some form up, but this is where I have them losing their 2 road spots. Wake Forest, that is. Then they got Pittsburgh and Duke at home, and then they got an easier 2 road spots in a row, back to back, at Notre Dame and then at Virginia Tech. So, I think they definitely win 1 out of 2 of those games on the road, and they expect to do the same here. But I kind of have it opposite. They lose these 2, then they win the back-to-back spot at Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. So I'll lean Virginia, but I agree with you, Rob. I was like, I don't have it in my bet slip because I like Virginia and I think it's the right play, but I expect it to be 4.5, maybe 5.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'd definitely take it, which sounds weird. Why not take the shorter line? But like you said, it's there for a reason. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, Virginia also second half at home. Like I've noticed they kind of get a little lackadaisical and let teams back in. They've had like anywhere from like a 7 to 15 point lead at home in conference play, but all these games have gotten tight at the end. So that was kind of my angle too, was just avoiding the whole second half bullshit. And there's always something ridiculous that happens. So little in and out. We'll see what happens. I like them I like them full game, but like you guys said, this 3 is a little weird. But I think first half they're going to come out and assert their pissed offness from the last couple games versus Wake Forest. So Texas Tech, Iowa State, anybody? No? Yeah. No, this is I thought I like Iowa State here, but that line felt a little big. But I was also like, is it a little big because they're trapping us into Texas Tech catching the points, which kind of feels like it, but this total's moved down. I think it was 8. Now I'm seeing 6.5. So that's just kind of my outlook on it. It feels fishy on both sides.
Yeah, and my issue right now with Iowa State is, I think they're a good team, but like how overinflated are their lines based on public perception, or are they just not inflated at all? And especially when they're in Hilton, like how much does Hilton help, like the betting public as well, in terms of where do we set this line to account for the action we're going to get on that side? I think Iowa State's going to win this game. I wouldn't want to fade, anything like 3.5 or 4.5 in this spot, or like 2.5. But when it was at 8 last night, and now it's come down to like 6.5, 7. Man, this was in my bet slip to bet. I'm not going to bet now because it dropped from, that number. But And this was something I definitely considered for Texas Tech because I do think they at least stay competitive in this game.
Yeah, I might have taken the wrong +8.5, right? Like on like Texas A&M instead of this game. I think it's gonna be close. I'd lean the under, but I'm not taking it just because I don't want to root for that at noon to watch my games. But this is gonna be a knockout, kind of drag out Big 12 fight, 64-58 or something like that, 66-60, something like that. I don't foresee this being in the 70s at all.
Yeah, I got nothing. I think it'll be a good game, close game, but just, nothing too much. Like again, nothing like I saw that really favored anything in my head.
I know Texas Tech. You could kind of say they blew their wad versus Kansas too. They kept putting it on them. I think like they didn't stop. I mean, rightfully so. Who doesn't want to pound the shit out of Kansas? But man, they were really just going after it at the end of the game there, offensively, towards the end there. So maybe they kind of screwed themselves a little bit this game. But I don't know. That line's weird as hell. That they would be catching that many points. So kind of felt like a trap for Texas Tech, but seeing it move down this much and kind of, I want no part of this game other than to have it on and watch it because it's going to be fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else in this 11 or 12 o'clock window? I know it's kind of limited here early on the day, but there are some good games.
Oh yeah, what I'll tell you is like from a game standpoint, I don't have a lot of like high profile bets, but from just like the actual like entertainment aspect of what this slate's gonna bring, it's gonna be so fun. There's just a lot of games across the board that are great.
100%. Texas and Houston's gonna be awesome at 12 o'clock. I mean, Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Detroit.
St. Francis, PA, Fairleigh Dickinson. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they don't stop in this early window.
Oh man, yeah, FDU and their elevator debacle, but they prevail. What an adverse win there. That's great.
That was perfectly NEC. Anybody have anything in this Arkansas or Mississippi State game? I really wanted to fade Arkansas, but I don't know. Take Mississippi State to win by 12. Versus Arkansas feels easy, but Mississippi State also struggles with the free throw. So this gets down to it late. They could, brick city and end up losing or winning by 11 or something off of a backdoor. So I really don't want any part of it. But if I were to play it, I would definitely take Mississippi State to kind of just handle Arkansas. Arkansas has been a wreck all year. And it just moved to 12 juiced. So anyway, but yeah, I can't back Arkansas, but the number feels a little big for my liking for Mississippi State here.
Yeah, Mississippi State is on my do not bet list, and the line is over 10 because of what you said. The free throw game for them, and we saw it last year when they were, in the tournament and whatever else. Like they really sucked down the stretch in a lot of games from the free throw line, and it's just annoying when you're missing front ends of 1-and-1s and you have the bonus the entire half, but you only get you're actually losing points probably because you're losing possessions out of it. The blowout games that Mississippi State has where it feels like, they dominated from wire to wire are like in the single digits. Like they feel like, you look up and it's a 6, 7, 8 point game. This is a lot of points. And Arkansas sucks, but they can at least still score. And I don't want to be messing with this kind of line on Mississippi State.
When's the last time Mississippi State has scored above 78 points?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to guess last year.
Well, that'd be a good guess. It was Bethune-Cookman. New Year's Eve, Bethune-Cookman scored 85.
So it was last year.
It was last year. You're kind of right. I hate giving out unders as much as I do, but I love betting them. I kind of like the Mississippi State team total under. I think they still can maybe cover the spread. I don't want to bet Arkansas team total. That was my first look, but I think it's a little low. Maybe Mississippi State gets the job done, and I lean the under there, but I'm just worried about a backdoor. So I'm deciding between the game under or the team total 78, under 78.5 for Mississippi State. I know Arkansas stinks though, so.
Yeah, I mean, but Mississippi State really sucks at free throws. What is their? Let me just look at this. It's they're shooting 67.6 for the season, which is 312th in the country, and that gets even worse in conference play. 60.7% in conference play. I know when I backed them against, I think Georgia at home, they were shooting 59%. So they're slowly improving. They're up over 60%. They're in the D range, so good for them. Yeah, I mean, I got nothing. I would, like you said, that team total under is kind of a nice look because I mean, I can see them just dominating Arkansas, and they don't push the pace at all anyway. So just grind them down and win like 72 to.
They do
like
this year a little bit
59.
more. It's not your average normal Mississippi State team that plays that ground and pound type basketball. They still do, but they've definitely picked up the pace based on based on the other teams that they've had. So
we
will
75 back to back, but.
And something I'll say too, and this is something I've noted, and I love bringing up with Mississippi State because they have a unique dynamic with this current roster set. But you look at Matthews, Jeffries, and Togu Smith, right? Those are three guys who are going to see pretty much the bulk of the minutes on 3 of their 5 starting spots. And I'll just read off their free throw percentages for the entire season: 54.7, 61.9, 59.6. So what happens is when the other team is in foul mode, their 3 best players, and I think those are their 3 best players outside of Moore, they're not on the floor half the time because they have to like do these weird, like almost hockey-like substitutions where they're just bringing in an entire different fleet for entirely different skill sets. And it just leads to a whole convoluted mess. They also get in foul trouble on their own. And so I'm getting close to like locking up Arkansas at this number because Mississippi State just is not built to withstand a backdoor cover at this number. Like they can dominate this game and win by 8 or 9. And I just, there's a threshold when you get to the 11.5, 10.5 lines. Man, I don't know if they can cross it against anybody in this league.
Got a question in the chat. Has anyone got anything on Georgia versus Florida? What's up, Will? Thanks for the question.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of leaned Florida. I mean, Georgia's they've been better as of late, but Florida they kind of feel like they've kind of gotten it rolling now. They won, what is this, 2, 4, 6 of the last 7. They've won at Kentucky, at Tennessee they got blown out, but I mean they've went on the road and won. They did lose to Texas A&M by 1, but they did cover the spread in that one. So Florida did, but Georgia's been, they've been kind of coming back down to earth here. Lost 5 straight here. They've lost at Arkansas. I mean, Arkansas at home, sure, but still, like, Arkansas is not a good team this year. Like, that team is a mess. So it just seems like Georgia and Florida are starting to go opposite directions at the end of the season here. I think Florida's probably going to kind of just run away with this. Maybe Georgia will keep it tight for first half or so, but second half, Florida is going to I think they're just going to start doing their thing and chomping away and get this dub. I think the line is 4.5 now. I'm not 100% sure, but it was 3.5, and I believe I saw 4.5. So regardless, I would lean Florida. I'm not playing this game though, but I would lean Florida. I know it was a 2-point game in overtime or something last time these two played earlier this year.
I for sure thought CBB Nick would have an over here. Maybe was my guess. Maybe I kind of, this is one I don't bet overs too much, but I like the over here. Public's on the under. It's a lot of points. That first half over may be a play as well because you can probably find somewhere in the 70s, and this thing can soar over. So I don't know if you got any thoughts there, Nick. I do kind of like the over there, though.
Yeah, I was definitely leaning the over. It was on my sheet. I just haven't pulled the trigger. I don't know if I will eventually pull the trigger. I think the line is, kind of where it probably should be. I think it's 157.5, 158-ish. So I kind of think it's like right it sounds dumb as hell to say, but I think it's like, right where it should be. I don't really see like a super, big advantage betting the over at that number. But if I had to bet on this game, that's what I would bet on. I don't lean aside in this game. I do like Georgia, but I think I kind of agree with Trev. Like Florida has got it rolling. So I would just stay away from the sides.
Yeah, I was doubting Todd Golden too, and I think he's actually put together a decent team, and he's done pretty well, and they got some hoopers on that team, of course, too. But I know, betting aside on this game, you're going to see Georgia up like 16 points, and you're like, holy shit, Georgia is going to win, and they'll be down by like 8 with 5 minutes to go. I've seen that song and dance with Georgia too many times this year, and
yeah, they did it with Alabama.
Yeah, we were both on Georgia. I think that was that Georgia money line at plus money? What game was that, or was it South Carolina?
I forget. It might have been South Carolina. Yeah.
I will say, Huff, you just stole my angle because I was going to say Georgia first half. Just take it and then forget about the rest of the game because they start great. Like with these lines that they're getting plus 2.5 against better opponents or plus 3.5 or plus 4, like they always feel like, oh, this is the one that they cover. Like this is gonna feel real easy, and then all of a sudden it's a 16-0 run from the other team at the start of the half, and you're playing catch up all of a sudden. So take Georgia first half, and honestly, you're probably bringing in money the entire season if you do that.
Yeah, I caught the last 5 seconds of Rob saying Georgia first half, but yeah, 100% agree. Yep. Anything? Do you guys have any other games in this window? I've got one more, but let's see if anyone else has anything in this noon or 1 o'clock window, wherever Eastern or Central time you're in. Nope. All right, I got Duke and Florida State here. Sorry, Nick. I'm on Florida State plus 5.5 here. Yeah, hey, I hate Duke, but you know what? As just to make you happy, I'll let them win. Just cover Florida State, but
I'll take it.
There we go. Everyone goes home happy. I mean, shit. Let's see here. Florida State versus the top 4 ACC defenses. At home, they lost by 4 to Virginia, 7 to UNC. They beat Wake Forest, who's 4th in defensive efficiency and conference play here. And they're also all top 6 offenses in the conference. So they've managed to hang in and play tough with the big dogs at home here. Duke hasn't left home in 2 weeks either. They're 3-0 and against the spread and straight up in that span here. So they're feeling good. They're leaving home now. But Florida State, this is the biggest game they have left of the season, and it's definitely the biggest game left of the season at home here. They've played. I just should have had this loaded up. They've played pretty damn well at home lately. And like I said, they were playing these top teams in the conference pretty damn close. And with it being the big game, I think they're going to have extra energy and motivation to be up for this game. I get that they've lost 4 of their last 5. But this is, like I said, the biggest game of the season. Florida State, the last 3 games at home versus Duke. They're 2-1 straight up, and the one loss was by 2 points, 80-78. And the last outright win Florida State had at home, they were actually 5.5-point dogs. They won 79-78 in overtime also. FSU is the tallest team in the country also, and they block a lot of shots. They're 45th in the country blocking shots, and Duke is 335th in getting their shots blocked, 12.5%. So I think Florida State's defense is going to allow them to stay in this game, provide some transition points to kind of get them quick, easy points on this Duke defense and hang in the game. I mean, Leonard Hamilton is, say what you want about him as of late, but overall he's a great coach. This Florida State team does have talent if they put it together. So I think coupled with the fact that it's one of the last big game of the year for them, I think they're going to get up and show up at home. I mean, everyone gets up for Duke anyway. So this being a 5.5-point spread feels a little easy, especially with Florida State being on the downslope here lately, and Duke really turned it up. Now they're going to only laying 5 on the road versus a bad, quote unquote, bad Florida State team right now. I think they get them and have a good game here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, Nick, thoughts on your Duke boys, man?
Yeah, I kind of disagree with Trev. The only thing I see here is Florida State fouls a bunch on defense and puts teams on the line. And even though what Trev said, they are the tallest team in the country, but for some reason they actually offensive rebound at almost 200th in the country. So Duke actually gets more offensive boards than Florida State does. So I think you're going to get a lot of second chance opportunities with Duke. They can shoot the three. Florida State's defense isn't that good, but I mean, like Trev said, Florida State is at home and they're going to get up for the game. So.
Yeah, I mean, I will counter that with Duke. Florida State is an elite turnover forcing team, so they can catch Duke a little lackadaisical today, maybe, or being a little sloppy with the ball. They're going to be able to exploit that too. But yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. They foul a lot and they give up the rebounds. So we'll see how it goes, but. This is the biggest game of the season, and who knows? Maybe Hamilton maybe stepping down next year. Who knows? He's getting up there, and this Florida State team has not been program has not been what we've kind of gotten accustomed to with Leonard Hamilton as of late. So maybe this is coming down to the end for Leonard. Who knows? Maybe the team gets him one last big win here at home.
Yeah, and I do feel like this line is kind of perfect to where Duke wins the game. And then it just comes down to, can they make free throws? And the reason I'm not betting this fucking line is because I just bet a team plus 5.5 against Duke. And Duke decided, instead of dribbling out the clock, that they're going to throw down a fucking fast break dunk to cover the spread. Mark Mitchell, I hate you. That was unreal. And then not only that, so it's a 5-point game. He goes down, he dunks it. It's a plus 5.5. It's a 7-point game. But Wake Forest gets fouled. And so they're shooting a 1-and-1 free throw. And all of a sudden, Wake Forest bricks it out. Nobody knows that it's a live ball because they think it's a double bonus. And so he gets there, he grabs the rebound from Filipkowski. He goes to the 3-point line, and he steps out of bounds. I hate Duke. I hate betting against Duke. I hate betting on Duke. And so I feel like, again, this line is perfect, and they know the spread. So I'm not fucking with it.
Fair, yeah. The end of that game was fucking ridiculous.
Sorry, I had to step out. You're talking about the Wake Forest game, right?
Yeah.
That game was a fucking clown show at the end. Holy shit! It is kind of just like fun to just watch them because I don't, I never have the spread in mind because I just refuse to bet on them because I don't want to get heartbroken twice. But yeah, that was fucking insane. Like the end of that to cover that game.
How do you not know there's a 1-and-1? Or
yeah,
I mean, how do you not know?
The pros don't even know. Like some people, their brain just turns off. Mm-hmm. Like we saw, to get away from college basketball, like we saw fucking Klay Thompson, for God's sake, do it the other day. He's been in the league for what, like fucking 12 years or whatever. Like people's brains just like turn off in those late game situations and they just like forget.
I mean,
especially
even
kids.
In the Super Bowl.
Me on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
This is their job. It's just corporate America for them,
Yeah, it's just like drops that do even the Super Bowl. Like in those late fucking pressure situations, like sometimes your brain just like malfunctions and you just fully forget. So, it sucks when you're on like
show, but what was George Kittle doing? Like, what is that guy doing, man? What the heck? Oh my gosh.
No, don't put onus on my boy George. It was I think Fred Warner, who was on this. He's just like, we want the ball. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
you're gonna give Patrick Mahomes all the fourth downs? That was wild. That was a wild, just brain fart. Like, how do you not inform him? And then all the players after the fact were just like, we didn't know that the other team got the ball.
Yeah,
you're in the fucking Super Bowl.
You
don't know this.
You can't say that. Even if you don't know, don't say it.
Yeah.
That's so horrible.
Just be like, oh, we just fucked up.
I didn't know I was supposed to not commit tax fraud.
Yeah,
me today from the books.
Absurd. Anything else in this window for anybody? I know Wisconsin, Iowa's up there, but if anyone else has something, we can talk about that first.
I'm addicted to Wisconsin overs.
I know you are.
I'm on
the
over.
Sick man.
I'm on the over again. I can't fucking help it. I'm sure it's moved down since I bet it because it happens with
It's
every
152 juiced over.
Okay, then we're good. I think I bet 152.5. But yeah, I think I'm just addicted to it. But this system that I've kind of stolen from T-Mac, it's when the top 50 average possession like teams on offense play average possession like team in the bottom 300. Obviously you can pick your spots if the defenses match up pretty well, even though it fits that like speed system, like, we'll stay off of it. But I think both offenses are obviously Iowa has a high scoring offense and they play ridiculously fast. And I think Wisconsin has a very good offense as well. So I think we'll see a lot of points in this one. So I'm on the over. But yeah, just a system play for me.
I like it. I definitely was leaning Iowa, but I'm not betting that. Like, that Super Bowl Sunday was such a sweat, and then Northern Iowa ruins me. But this Iowa team could be up 8, and that lead don't mean shit. They could be up 12. That lead doesn't mean crap. But even when they're down, it's the same way. So I don't like the sides here. I do think the total's a good call. It's Wisconsin, but it's also Iowa. Like, their totals should be at 170 sometimes, 160, and they have been before.
Yeah, them and UMBC. I bet that one too. I think it was like 169. It was higher than that.
Yes, it definitely did for sure.
It did. Right? Yes.
They won like 100 and something to 70 something, I think.
103 it was close.
81. 103 to 81. Nice.
Let me see. I have it written down somewhere. I'll tell you.
Yeah, Iowa sucks, boys. You can't back this team. Like, this team is so trash, and yeah, they might win this game, but God, they can be flat one game, they can be up playing one game. Like against Maryland, they took that bull by the horns and got up to like a 15-point lead, and then they shit down their leg and lost by 12. Against Minnesota, they were down like 18, 20 points in the first half, and then they come back. And it's like, I hate betting on high variance teams, which is honestly why I really find a lot of enjoyment in watching and betting on Iowa football. But but yeah, I can't get behind this team. I'm out on Fran McCaffrey. I have been for a couple of years now, and this is just something that I'm just over.
Yeah, Iowa UMBC was 177.5.
177.
Because I think UMBC was like number 2 in the country at Pacer at the time or something like.
Holy shit!
Yeah, man. Fran McCaffrey, he's talk about like mediocrity almost. Like I don't get it either, and they just always blunder in March and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with you there, Rob, on Franny. I didn't know that Lute Olson coached at Iowa. That's something I learned today. I did not know that.
Steve Alford, Lute Olson.
I knew Alford. That team with Adam Haluska, that guy was a baller. Mm-hmm. I remember that team, and they lost to Northwestern State. But freaking, I remember that team. But I didn't know Lute Olson coached at Iowa. So that's a cool little tidbit.
Yeah, we got some running at some good coaches.
I hope we get a FranCon level like 10 today. Like it's been a minute since we've got a big FranCon explosion. But I'm kind of with Rob. I can't back Wisconsin either. I can't back my Badgers. We're fucking dog shit now. It was really annoying. I said this. I know Rob and them know this all early season. Was out on Wisconsin. I was like, they're not this good of a team. They're not this good. This team sucks. Like we're not good. Yeah, of course they roll. I buy in. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm ready to get hurt by this team. And they immediately fucking cost me. It was after the Michigan State game. I'm like, okay, this team's legit. Nebraska lost. Purdue lost. Michigan lost. Rutgers lost. Congrats on beating Ohio State at home. This team is back to just being meh. And it happened fast. I don't trust Wisconsin on the road at 3-6. I don't trust an 11-3 Iowa team at home either. This is, Nick's angle, I would probably play it total with an over here if I had to, but I want no part of this game. I am going to regretfully watch it and get my heart ripped out by Iowa somehow winning this game. I can already tell you. So absolutely no play for me. Anything
Will
else
Moss
in
was
this one?
bringing up. Yes, I do have one of my biggest bets of the day, but Will Moss is wanting us to talk about Northeastern, and I have a bet on Northeastern, so that's
Let's do it.
perfect. Bill Cohen at Northeastern is one of the best mid-major coaches in all of college basketball. I don't know how many years he's going to have left in terms of his longevity at that program, or if he becomes an assistant at a high major, or what's going to happen to him. But Bill Cohen's awesome. In February, you want to put your eggs in the basket of the coaches who have been there and done that and have a good pedigree, especially in conference play. And Speedy Claxton, what we're kind of seeing right now in his era at Hofstra is that, he's taken over for Mahalik, and he's had those players over the past couple of years. Well, now those players are starting to graduate and leave in terms of Aaron Estrada. And, we've seen it over the years with, I can't remember the hyphenated guy's name, but when they won the actual CAA, like, they had great squads and a lot of really great talent. Well, now that's going away. And Speedy Claxton's actual coaching ability is coming out. And I think it's going to be like a Juwan Howard, John Beilein situation where after 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to really see that come to a head. And Hofstra, do not buy into the name, do not buy into what they've done in recent years. This team is really bad. I'm all over Northeastern. I think they win this thing outright, but take the 7, take the 6.5. Feel confident about it.
Yeah, I've got nothing in that, but Hofstra's they've been rolling lately, but it seems like whenever I bet them, I've gotten burnt, so I don't really even have a really good read on this team.
It's freaky like Georgia, man. They can't hold a lead, and they when they get down, they're down. So yeah, go Northeastern. I like it. I love it.
And then Oklahoma State at BYU at Oklahoma State. I don't know. I don't trust BYU. This team doesn't close out second half. Like they'll jump on a team and then they just, I don't know, down the stretch they just look like shit. They don't close games out and cover. So I want no part of this game. This, I don't know, kind of feels like Oklahoma State gets up for this game, but I don't want to back them. I know I did against Kansas State, but that's because Kansas State was real dumpster fire at that point. But BYU, they can run it up, or they can, I don't know. They frustrate me. I've lost like 3 or 4 bets on them because they cannot close games. So that's just, I'm already just not feeling them from that standpoint.
I'm on BYU.
Best of luck.
I'll die for him. I just I think Oklahoma State just like isn't anything special. Like, yeah, they're like, I just don't see anything that they do special. Like, yeah, their defense is okay, but they're letting teams shoot a bunch of threes against them, which is obviously exactly what BYU wants to do. And Oklahoma State loves to shoot a lot of threes, but they don't make a lot. They're only shooting 34% as a team. BYU's 3-point defense is top 20 in the country. BYU can offensive rebound. They can defensive rebound. They don't turn the ball over. Obviously, we know how high powered their offense can be. So I'm going to side with the way better offense here in this one. They're on the road, and it's a Big 12 road spot, which obviously is always going to be hard to a hard environment to go into. And like Trev said, they're going to be up for it. BYU is a very, very good team that no one's going to look past, obviously. But yeah, I think we're at 6. I'll take it.
Yeah, this is a game I didn't want to bet, but I think you're right, Nick. Like, you want to put your hard-earned money on Oklahoma State, even with the points. Like, it brings me, I can't do that, right? So with that logic, like, yeah, I think BYU's the play for here if you got one for sure. So, but people are going to see a home team and bet on that, I think, too. And with Oklahoma State, it doesn't really matter recently. I know they've won against Kansas State and West Virginia, but that's nothing crazy at home.
Yeah, I kind of like the look at the under there, but I don't really want to bet that game at all. There's just too many good games to fixate on that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Nick, wishing you the best of luck. I'll root for you just because I got no skin in the game. So Go Mormons. I'm kind of actually pissed I didn't bet this game. Actually, does anyone have anything in Virginia Tech or North Carolina? Otherwise, we'll skedaddle on out of this window.
So I do have one of my biggest bets of the day in this window. It's a very obscure one that I guarantee it, unless you follow me or I think even Colby from the college basketball experience locked this up last night. But Loyola, Maryland, they're playing at Lehigh. They're getting 10.5 points. And listen, Lehigh is coming off a double overtime game and an overtime game back to back. And on top of that, Loyola Maryland is actually playing really good ball. I don't know if you guys follow the Patriot League at all, but obviously Colgate's running that league like they do every single year. But Loyola Maryland put the fear of God in those boys at home. And the last 2 times that Loyola Maryland has gone on the road, they beat Lafayette, who's in second place in the Patriot League. They also beat American, who's also vying for second place in the Patriot League as well. I think that there's certain times in a year where you can kind of tell that a team is ascending in conference play. We see it with Texas Southern every single year where they get smoked in non-con play and then just kind of run through their league. Well, in the Patriot League, the second place team is usually sitting at a 500 record, and that could be somewhat similar to Loyola Maryland if they can just win some games here and finish the season 12-20. And so I really do think that they're going to be in that ballpark. I think they're going to be alive in this game at plus 470. But yeah, I have a lot of money riding on plus 10.5 for Loyola Maryland, and I feel really confident about it.
Oh yeah. Hey, maybe I'll tell you. I don't know. I don't got much really action. So.
What channel is that game on today, Rob?
Oh, ESPN Plus, I think. Yeah, ESPN Plus.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you won't be able to watch it.
We need you to sign in, please. Will you re-sign in and resubscribe? I've already paid you 3 times this year. So
ESPN Plus is turning into the Pac-12 network, man.
It's a joke.
Coke Booger, this is just the hat I had. I apologize if you're on Oregon
Coke
State.
Booger. I love that name. Oh my
Great
gosh.
fucking name, Booger.
I bet I skipped at 1 o'clock is the Robert Morris Wright State over. I know it's a lot of points, but it's Wright State. They're gonna score 100. They're gonna score 100 this game against Robert Morris. Their defense is, but
yeah.
So I did miss that one. But I don't have anything really else for the 2 o'clock Eastern window. Should we talk about the big one at 3 Eastern? Maybe the biggest game of the
one
day.
in this 2 o'clock window I'm looking at.
Let's hear it.
I'm kind of pissed I didn't grab it last night. I lost a crazy CLV, but Merrimack is they were 11.5 versus Long Island last night. They're up to 14, about to go to 14.5 now. This Merrimack defense is stifling. It's one of the best in the country, metrics wise. Long Island, they're don't get me wrong, they're fun to watch and whatnot. I mean, they got the elevator debacle, the hoops falling on people. They can't get buses to the game on time. Like there's something special out of the NEC. But Merrimack here, they're rolling. They're on a different level. They've won 8 of their last 10, 7 in a row here. LAU's coming in, alternating wins and losses here. They haven't left home since February 1st against FDU. So this will be almost about 3 weeks or so roughly since they've left home. Merrimack gone on the road and won. They've come home and won by 16. They beat Central Connecticut by 3, Stonehill by about 17. Their last 3 home games, so they're rolling on teams. I think LAU's probably in for a long day here. I think Merrimack is going to put it on them. The defense is going to stifle them and shut that offense down. So I mean, don't actually hate an under here either, but man, that Merrimack minus 11.5 looks really nice now versus this 14. I would still lean Merrimack by 14, but it's kind of gotten out of hand with where this number is.
Yeah, I almost actually had a bet on Merrimack when it was minus 11. Didn't pull the trigger. Now I'm seeing all that movement, and I'm like, yeah, that was probably the right bet to make. But I still think Merrimack wins by 20. So yeah, that's something that I'm willing to ride.
Long Island just played a 2.5-hour game too. They just played 2 hours and 40 minutes of basketball, 30 minutes. I mean, how long an overtime can take sometimes. So yeah, there's no, I don't see them bouncing back after 2 days too. Not even.
and they're hitting the road for the first time in like 2.5, 3 weeks. So maybe a little rusty and whatnot going
Their
on.
home court's an LA Fitness. It's unbelievable. It's literally an LA Fitness. Have you ever seen
Steinberg Wellness Center.
Look what Will Moss said.
And Long Island's got a look-ahead spot, too. They got Lemoyne coming up. That's a total look-ahead spot there, right?
Sharks and Dolphins, yes.
They're getting some dubs, that team.
Lemoyne's good. Yeah, they're kind of good. Yeah, Lemoyne's good.
Very good.
Yeah. It was a joke, but kind of not really.
No, they've been rolling, like, low-key.
I mean,
but if we want to talk about
Oh no, I was just about to say, like, first-year teams in Division One, like we've seen it over the years with like Bellarmine, Merrimack, Stonehill, Queens last year. Teams that are just in the first year, like they're carrying in a lot of talent from that D2 level. College basketball isn't like football where D2 and there's like this massive gap. Like it's a pretty bridgeable gap in terms of the actual top end teams, and yeah, Lemoyne's showing that. They might be the best team in this league right now.
Yeah. They're winning games. I'm with you, Rob. Yeah, the D2 transfer, it's unbelievable. Just like how Merrimack should have been in last year.
Robbed. Absolutely robbed. I guess some could say game of the day here. Probably is the game of the day, 2:00. Marquette is catching 7 points at UConn. Over-under is 147.5. I had no play in this. Does anybody have an actual play in this game, or is this going to be one we're going to all be watching?
I got nothing, but I'd love to be sold on something.
Yeah, I got nothing either, but I want to bet this. Like, I mean,
boys, I was hoping one of you guys had something because I got none. Well, this line scared me off because I'm like, dude, this has to be a ball game. But then all of a sudden I started thinking, well, Shaka does tend to sometimes get blown out in these spots, and this is a hefty line for a 1v4 matchup. Usually we see this line at like 3.5, 4.5. At 6.5, 7.5, that's where you get in the territory of like, we know that one side is going to win 80-69 is usually how that kind of plays out. So, I don't like anything there.
Yeah, I think the total is priced correctly too. I kind of like an under here. Big East spots can in big games they kind of do that, right? Like it's not an all-time shootout for most part, but I can't take. I didn't take it. I don't know why, but I'm not. I don't want to root for an under with the top teams either. So I was indecisive. I mean, this is a betting show. I want to come up with a bet, so I'll come up with one and give that out. But again, this is one I was scared to bet, which is so weak by me. But this is 1v4. You know there's going to be some live spots available in this game too, for sure.
Probably.
Yep.
I was rolls them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking UConn at this one. I mean, like you guys said, if it was like a 3.5, 4.5 line, we kind of think that Marquette keeps this close. But I feel like with the 7, I feel like they're kind of just begging for Marquette money. I mean, we all know Marquette's been really fucking good. Now they're going to offer up, 2 to 3 possessions here, depending on you want to count threes or not as a possession. But I mean, but Marquette, 3 of the last 4 have been on the road. They've won every game. They've been steamrolling teams. They've covered 7 of the last 8 games. Conference play. They've looked really good since that Butler game. I mean, they were 2-2 or 2-3 in conference play, and then they beat St. John's, beat DePaul. Congrats, Seton Hall, Villanova, Georgetown, St. John's, Butler. So these haven't been like top-notch opponents that they've been rolling against. Villanova was they were up 20 in that game and they almost blew it. Villanova, fuck you from that game still. St. John's, I'm not high on St. John's. They can't close games, so I'm not really too impressed, overly impressed with those. Butler, they played them tough. They only won by 6. Yeah, I think UConn actually rolls these guys. Getting 7, everybody loves Marquette. Shaka's a dog, yada yada yada. This UConn team hasn't. They haven't overlooked anybody. They've been laser focused, crushing DePaul, crushing Georgetown. 13 at the Garden against St. John's. I mean, at Villanova they won also. Providence they beaten by 11. I mean, they're rolling teams. I don't think the 7 is anything to be worried about. I think they're probably going to win by double digits, is what this is telling you. Just feel like they're begging for Marquette money at +7. I mean, that's a big number with Shaka and Tyler Kolek and company.
Agreed. Whip out that Husky graphic, Nick. Let's bring that back out. 1-0.
Yeah, that shitty ass graphic.
That was so fucking funny, and it made me think.
Funny.
Those rocks.
UConn too. I think it was Gonzaga that game.
Yep.
When the world was still high on Gonzaga. Unfortunately, guys, I got to cut my stream short here in a second, but I wanted to give this out. I think I see a 6.5 a line that I like, and I know the public likes it too. But the public did win last weekend. I'm going to go South Carolina against LSU off the bad loss. This is a team that they want to prove themselves as a top 25 team, a ranked team, and there's a spirit of the South Carolina team that we have never seen. I mean, I know they made it to the Final Four, but that was as a 10 seed, and it was kind of surprising. I can't remember the player's name. It was a cool ass name, but he was a baller. I mean, and Frank Martin, of course, but that kind of came out of nowhere, right? And this team has a chance to be a top 6, top 7 seed in March Madness, maybe even crank into the 5 spot. They got to get this win. They got to get they got to come out strong after a bad loss, getting their brakes blown off. So I kind of like that. And I know LSU's been covering numbers lately, but they played their hearts out in the swamp. I don't think they show up for this game against South Carolina, and South Carolina's defense swarms them. So, and my mistake, they could easily crank into the 4 seed even too if they win some more games here. So, and they got 2 road games coming up at Ole Miss, at Texas A&M, South Carolina, that is. So they need to come get this dub and win by 12 to 15, maybe more.
Oh, huff. We're locked battling here, baby. I'm all over LSU. You want to look at like teams in February. This is the time of year again where the teams that have been overachieving start to fall down to the pack. We got Wisconsin, we got High Point, we got Indiana State losing to Illinois State, all in just this week. Like, all these teams are fading down the stretch. Well, look at South Carolina. Just got the doors blown off them by Auburn, where they lost by 40 points. And yes, that was at Auburn. Auburn's a great team. But when you're a top 11 team in the country and you're 21-4 and you're only laying 6.5 against a team that's 500 and has gotten stopped by some squads, this line should be 12.5, 13.5. And there's a reason why it's not. I think LSU is all over them here. I think that they could win this thing outright. I think it's telling you it's going to be a 1-possession game, and it's a locked battle, Huff. Bring it on. LSU, baby. I'm all on them right now.
This isn't their football program, man. No, I'm just messing with you. But I'm riding the Cox here. Let's go. I'm riding the Cox. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm
like the Cox.
I like the Cox today.
All right. Well, I guess, Hop, if you're skedaddling soon, if you just want to run through your card quick and
randomly got the NBA All-Star game in Indianapolis this weekend, so probably won't have that again in my lifetime. So I'm gonna go check out the festivities. But I'll still be watching tons of NCAA games and looking for some live spots. I wanted to pick your guys' brain on Kansas, Oklahoma. I don't love any of those teams. Trevor, I saw you were on Oklahoma, but it's tough for me to take them. I know they're a home team, but they've really underwhelmed me after starting off good. Rob, to your point, a team that gets a top 15, top 10 team in the country, and then they kind of just that's Oklahoma for you. I also think Utah State ends up covering the number. I know that it's fading a system contradictory to last night with San Diego State and taking the home teams in the Mountain West. I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on Washington State, Stanford as well. And then where else? Let me pull up my bets for the 7 o'clock. I did not get past the 8 o'clock window, 7 o'clock Central Time. So that's my mistake. That I will hopefully maybe have some plays at 10 o'clock. But one I like is Milwaukee. Horizon League at 8 o'clock is Milwaukee -2.5. This team stinks. I don't know why I'm betting this at all the games, but it's something about Horizon home teams blindly maybe taking an over two. But Northern Kentucky is pretty bad on the road, and they can cover a number here or there, but they cannot get the dub. I think Milwaukee can win at home by 4. And then let me pull up my other one. I leaned Washington State, but wanted to pick your guys' brain there. And I might not be afraid of a minus 19.5 Tennessee against Vanderbilt. Do I see Tennessee just dominating? Yes, but I know I hate laying that number too. So, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on Kansas, Oklahoma, and Washington State, Stanford as well.
Before Huff, what's your contribution to the 4-leg parlay?
Oh, shit. Talk to me for a second about what I just asked you, and let me decide the money line. I got it because it's going to be a money line or a short spread for sure.
I haven't played the Oklahoma game if anyone has. All right, I'm on Oklahoma. I'm on Oklahoma here. All right, let's fucking go, Nick. Kansas. This is not the typical Kansas team. Yes, they dominated Houston at home. Keyword at home. On the road this season, they are 1-5 in conference play. This is not. Let me pull up this on covers. This is not a typical Kansas team. I think Hunter Dickinson is really holding this team back a little bit defensively. Down low, he's not providing much of anything defensively. They also aren't grabbing offensive rebounds, which is absurd, considering they are one of the taller teams in the country, if I'm not mistaken. 7th. They're 7th in the country for height, and they are 294th in grabbing offensive rebounds as a team. Like, that's, you could argue they're making shots, but if you're not grabbing rebounds, like, your second chance, you need that first shot to go in, obviously. Oklahoma, they are, 40th in the country at limiting the offensive possessions also, so they're crashing glass. So if Kansas isn't making shots right away, they're not going to fall. Oklahoma's allowing sub 30% from 3-point land, 47.9 effective field goal on defense. At home, they've been pretty damn good. They did lose to Texas Tech in Texas, but Texas Tech is a better team than Kansas, in my opinion, and I'm not just saying that because they dog walked Kansas. Texas, it was an off game. They lost by 15. So nothing I can really say about that. But Oklahoma, I think this is the ultimate get-up game. You crash the defensive glass. They get to the free throw line. They're gonna be able to end those possessions for Kansas. And like I said, Hunter Dickinson has not really done much. He's just kind of been a big bum, just kind of a douchebag that we all hate still. I think Porter Moser and company get up for this game. This is also where's the standings here? Oklahoma can level themselves with Kansas and be 7-6 with them, along with BYU and TCU. So they can keep themselves in this race for the most part. Regular season's locked up for Houston, but I think they can still make a run here. They have great offense, and their defense has been great. I'm just not sold on Kansas. I got a horrible number. I got plus 105 on the money line last night. It's plus 130 now. I don't care. I still think Kansas -3. They're just kind of begging you for Kansas money. Kansas just got the doors blown off of them. Bill Self got ejected. They should be able to easily just win this game, right? I don't think so. I think Oklahoma is going to dominate that glass and, assert themselves. Go fight in Porter Morsers today.
All right. You're convincing me. And then I feel like there's not many short spreads on the money line today, right? So we kind of got to dive into the juice a little bit. And I'm deciding between Vermont on a short spread -180, 170 you can get, or we start off at a banger with Iowa State at home -280. But I don't want to give out a -280 on the parlay. So I think I'll give Vermont. Let's go Catamounts. The system away. The short spread is fucking scary, but I think they still get it done on the road. They win by 4 to 6.
I will say I have a bet on Maine, but this is a good hedge. this is a good hedge because if one way or another, if this is the leg that goes down, I'm making money.
Yeah, yep. And what was the leg that lost last weekend?
Well, we had two. I had Colorado that ate shit, and then we also had Bradley money line that ate shit.
Yeah,
that Bradley game. Oh my god!
Of
guys.
course, that was the one.
I really thought we had that.
I was like, well, I think we should just add Bradley. I was all in. It was we were cooked. We were only gonna have the 3 anyway with Colorado, but still. But
yep.
Yeah, I added Bradley last minute, of course. So hopefully, I give a winner this time. We win the pump fake parlay. If we lose, we're still up 6 units on the year in the parlay.
Yeah. So we're 1-1.
1-1 up 7 units, 7.04. Guys, I love talking ball with you. So unfortunately, got to dip. Cheers, guys. I'm drinking my hungover McDonald's Coke, and I'm gonna get showered, ready, and head downtown. So best of luck, guys, and yeah, I'll be watching while I'm showering. Thinking of you guys.
Huff, before you leave, Huff. You're taking Vermont money line -275 instead of Iowa State -285 for the parlay.
Jump that much?
I see Vermont -6.5, -275 money line. Iowa State -285 money line.
Oh fuck! I'm not gonna do that now.
I was so confused. I was like, wait a minute, we're saving 10 cents to go 285 to 275 for this. I just wanted to make sure. I have it written down. I'm just making sure.
Oh my god, it did jump like crazy. Holy shit.
What was it at?
-3, 4 this morning.
Vermont was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, someone nuked it.
Yeah, it was low.
I bet you it was RAS.
Yeah, I got +2.5 for Maine.
Oh fuck!
Hey,
so,
I've noticed the Steam has never really been a good thing lately.
No,
like, if I get great CLV, it fucks me anyway.
Especially this drastically. Like I remember last year in the SoCon tournament, Chattanooga versus Furman. I got in Chattanooga at like +14.5, and by tip it was at +5.5, and then Chattanooga lost by 30. So. Just take that with a grain of salt. CLV is just CLV, and it's a lot of overreactionary shit that kind of goes into it.
The CLV argument annoys the ever living shit out of me. Oh, congrats!
Yeah, you're not gonna be money
fantastic. No, I got fantastic CLV yesterday with Cornell team total. I got it at 81.5. The shit was like 84.5, juice -130 before tip off. Fucker scored 75 points anyway.
Mm-hmm.
CLV is one of the that shit annoys me when people.
Okay, we'll do the Cyclones then. You can pick between Cyclones and Vermont. Let's go Cyclones, I guess. We'll start off with the early window. I know Trevor's going to put in either Oklahoma or Kansas State, so we're going to have a little anchor.
Oh no.
There, no.
I don't know. Actually, I shouldn't say no. Maybe.
I almost did Florida. I almost did Iowa too, but I think I don't want to rely on Iowa right now. So.
Yeah.
But guys,
we'll flip a coin for Vermont or Iowa State.
Have a great day. You guys are the best, and yeah, win your bets.
Have fun.
Except for LSU, Rob. Hope you lose that one.
Hey, I hope you lose it too.
You guys.
All right, have a good one, Huff. All right. Sweet, so Vermont or Iowa State. We'll flip a coin for that one or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yep, I got a coin.
Perfect. I was just gonna Google quarter flip, but that works better. Anything else? Yeah, 2:00 window. I know. Before I forget, Will Massa is asking if we have anything for Youngstown at Cleveland State or Cleveland State at Youngstown. Nope, Youngstown at Cleveland State might be. For this one. Oh,
Youngstown State is very fadeable. Just stylistically, like they can get in danger or they can blow out teams. They're another high variance team like a Creighton or an Iowa. And I don't like backing them, especially on the road and especially against a team that has a lot of veteran guys and has played in this league for a long time. So I'm taking Cleveland State. I think they win this game outright, but I'm also not locking it with conviction. I think this game has a wide range.
Yeah. I mean, the big advantage is the free throw line also. Cleveland State, they are sending teams to the line a ton. 309th in the country, by far bottom in the conference. And Youngstown shooting 80% in conference play from the free throw line. Youngstown State grabs offensive boards. Cleveland State does not crash the glass whatsoever on the defensive end. So if you get that, they're just going to let you crash the glass and take it up for extra points. So I actually don't mind Youngstown State here. I know it was 2.5 last night I saw, so it's already gone a full point. But yeah, I don't really see Cleveland State. I don't know. Personally, I would lean Youngstown State. I know they just didn't they just lose? No. That was 2 games ago. They lost to Green Bay, but beat Robert Morris. I mean, it's just the big one for me is that free throw advantage. You got a 68% team versus an 80% team, and then a Cleveland State team that doesn't crash the defensive glass. So if Youngstown wants to, they're going to get all the chances they want at second chance points today. So that would be where I would lean. Nick, anything, or should we just carry on?
Nothing for me.
All right. Anything else in this window for you guys? The 2 or 3 o'clock window. Otherwise, we will just move to the next.
I have a pretty decently sized bet, and then we can just kind of move on. It's not a high profile game, like I was kind of saying. A lot of these games that I bet today weren't really games that I necessarily want to watch from an entertainment perspective. But I'm taking Rice +5 against Tulsa. Tulsa's not good, and they also struggle to score. And Rice does have that high variance factor to him too, which I typically like to avoid. But in this spot where I think that we could have an easy, sweat-free 20-point winner on the Rice side of things, like I'm gonna ride Rice and get the 5 points, and maybe even if they don't have their A game, Tulsa's playing bad like they normally do, and they're not gonna cover this line. So give me Rice +5. Love that bet.
Yep, Rice doesn't follow much either, so I
Mm-hmm.
mean that'll be nice. You're not going to hand over free points at the line. Tulsa defense loves to send you to the line. In conference play, they're 35. I'm not even sure it's not 35%, but they're sending teams to the line a fair amount. So I really don't have a feel in this game, but when I stared at it going through the board last night, I was leaning Rice too. Rice hung with FAU, if I'm not mistaken. Lost by 13, but that was a tight game for the most part. So yeah, I mean, I'd lean Rice, but absolutely don't want to bet this game. I'm rooting for you, Rob. Let's go Rice Owls.
Go Rice.
Nick, what's you got anything else in this window or anything coming up?
I got some at the 4:35 Eastern, but nothing until then.
I have nothing. I've got nothing in this other window either. Just double check that I don't. Oh, the Oklahoma. We already went over that. Yeah, it's Oklahoma's catching 3 points now, so maybe I probably should have waited last night, thinking obviously it'll go up, but here we are. Fuck your CLV. Go Boomer Sooner. My biggest play of the day is in this window too. We got Hawaii at UC Santa Barbara. I love Hawaii in this one. This is 2 teams that are going complete opposite direction. Let me actually got it written down right here. Hawaii, this is a double revenge spot for Hawaii. UCSB, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they bullied the shit out of Hawaii on the island last game this year, a couple weeks ago. I think they jumped out like a 22-point lead in the first half. It was never close. UCSB did their thing, but since that game, UCSB is 1-4 and Hawaii is 5-1. 2 teams that are going opposite. I mean, Hawaii, I kind of think is a little bit not having McClanahan in. Ever since he's been kind of sidelined with some injuries, they've been rolling. Juan Munoz has taken over. Justin McCoy has played very well. I forget their other guy down low, but he's been balling. And this is, man, what was that UC Santa Barbara? 78-61. It was never close. So I think Hawaii is going to get their revenge here. UCSB, they get gashed inside. Justin McCoy, his last 3 games, he's gotten 22, 17, and 18. Hawaii doesn't allow the second chance points, and Santa Barbara is 349th in extra scoring chances per team rankings. So they're not crashing the glass. They're not getting extra looks at the hoop. And Hawaii, Last 3 games, second highest effective field goal percentage in the country. 64% in the last 3 games. They've been shooting lights out, and they've done it on the road too. It hasn't just been at home. Hawaii, they're shooting 53.5 on the road versus 51.5 on at home. So they hit the road. They shoot a little better. UCSB kind of fallen flat lately. Not who we thought they were going to turn out to be this year. And I think Hawaii is pissed off and playing good ball. I think they get this outright on the money line. If you want to take the 1.5, 2 points, feel free. But I think this is going to be a nice, I don't want to say easy, but a nice spot for Hawaii to get that revenge. It will be weird not betting Hawaii at 11 o'clock at night, but we'll take a 3 p.m. 3 p.m. game.
Believe it or not, that's my only trepidation is like, this feels fucking weird.
Yeah. What are they like?
Even just West Coast teams in general aren't playing at this time.
Yeah. No, it definitely is a weird window. I thought it was going to be more of a 6 or 7 o'clock at night game, but 3 o'clock, what's that? Hawaii's 3 hours behind the West Coast, I believe. Is that it? Regardless,
I think they're 5
regardless, it'll be 5 hours behind West Coast?
East Coast. So yeah, you're right.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, holy shit. Yeah, so I mean, at least it'll be like a noon, 1 o'clock game for them. 11, I guess, whatever. But I don't have a problem with this. I think UCSB, I mean, they beat Cal State Bakersfield. That was their one win outside of Hawaii in their last 7 games. So dismantled Hawaii. Hawaii wasn't playing that great. Now they're playing tremendous. Cal State Bakersfield, they are not great. And they've gotten rolled otherwise. San Diego beat them by 15. Northridge beat them by 8. Irvine beat them by 15. Davis beat them by 10. So they're kind of trending in the wrong direction after that Hawaii game, and I think they're going to catch them. So I got 2 unit or a unit and a half on Hawaii today, plus 110. What else we got? Talk to Kansas, Oklahoma.
Well, my favorite bet of the entire day is actually in this window, and again, maybe not the most high profile, but it is I think a game that is worth turning into, and I'm gonna have obviously a TV on, and I think I would regardless. But Nicholls State McNeese, I'm all over I'm all over Nicholls State here. I think this is an outright winner spot. And at the very least, they're getting within this number of 10.5 is where I grabbed it. I don't know if it's moved or not. I probably should check before I give it out. But 10.5, Nicholls State, like them on the money line, it got plus 440. I think this is a game that Nicholls State's going to be up in your grill. McNeese is now the hunted. We just kind of talked about, or at least I brought up Wisconsin, Indiana State, High Point. You know, these teams have been, these are new conference leaders this season, and they're dropping games this week because February is the time of year when it happens. And McNeese State, this is the first time they've been relevant in decades. So they're the hunted. As good as they might seem, as good as Will Wade is as a coach, they can get got, and I think they get got today.
Yeah, I'm with you. The line feels short. McNeese has been blowing teams out lately. Now they only got to win by double digits. Feels a little too easy today. And yeah, Nicholls State's been nice. They've won 5 of the last 6 too. So their one loss was on the road too. So yeah, I'm with you. Maybe you know what? Fucking add it to my slip.
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing 9.5 still. So give me I'll ride Nicholls with you. Let's go.
Love
it. Nick, Miami guy. Miami is sitting the road Boston College. I was leaning Boston College, but I am not touching this game.
I was leaning Miami, but I also haven't touched the game either. Every time I've stayed off Boston College games because every time I bet on them, they just do fucking absolutely nothing. So I don't know. It's such a tough game. Obviously, Boston College at home on a short spread. We know Miami just likes to rip the 3, and that's where they're going to get a majority of their points from. And Boston College 3-point defense is horrific. They don't offensive rebound very well. They don't get to the line, but neither does Miami. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game, but I just couldn't pull the trigger on Miami.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Boston College is just a place teams kind of get little sleepy on the road at times, but I feel like Miami is just due one of their games where they just show up and like, oh, holy shit, look at this offense again. They can actually score the ball.
Yeah, they're
But
struggling.
they are. I mean, 60 at Clemson. They damn near beat UNC, but 38 at Virginia. I know Virginia's got a fucking great defense, but come on, 38 points.
Is embarrassing,
bro. Yeah, their offense has been in rough shape as of late. So I want no part of backing it, but Boston College, don't really want any part of them. Quentin Post, fantasy score, I guess, if you got to play something. I know he was awesome last year. I haven't actually been following him too much this year, but the guy, he's a shot blocker, and he can step out and shoot it, and he can rebound and shit. So he could have a big game, but I want no part of this game whatsoever. I don't even know if I'll watch it, to be honest. UMass and Bryant. Yeah, UMass Lowell at Bryant. I have no play in this game, but pretty big game. In the shit, I forget what conference they're in, but anybody have anything in this game potentially, or should we just keep her moving?
I do have a question because I got a DM about it from our boy Adam Rosenberg. Does my mic sound bad?
It's a little
sounds
off, but
it sounds different. It sounded different, but it's not like it's bad.
Yeah,
I am on a new laptop. Is what? Yeah. So I'm thinking that maybe because my other laptop, the webcam broke on it. It's just kind of like blurry, streaking down the lines. Well, give me 1 second, boys. I'll be right back. I'm gonna see if I can fix this.
Okay,
sounds good. Yes.
The other one I had, I'll just go through in the 4:30 slate. It's nothing crazy. It's just another system play. Like I said, from that I've stolen from T-Mac. It's Morehead State and UT Martin over 146.5. It's fallen 2 points. So got some really good Sylvia on that one. It's 144.5 now. But yeah, it's just another like Morehead State's 354th in average possession length on offense. UT Martin is 18th. Morehead State has a pretty efficient offense. They're not bad, especially their interior offense. Tennessee Martin's defense is pretty lackluster. They're bottom 250 in the country. The only thing they kind of do well is defend the three, and they don't put teams on the line. But I think Morehead State will put Martin on the line a bit, and I think Martin's offense will be able to score. I mean, we've seen him put up, high scoring games. Like they've put up 90 on SIU Edwardsville, 77 on Southern Indiana, 84 Southeast Missouri State. Obviously, these teams aren't as good as Morehead, but I think we'll get some points here, and it should be like a mid 70s, high 70s battle. So I'm on the over on that one.
All right, boys, let me know. Is this a little better?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now you're back to sounding like Rob.
Dude, yeah, it was apparently attached to my fucking earbuds.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, I don't even know.
It was different, but it wasn't like it was bad.
Yeah, we can still hear you. I just assumed it was just the different computer or something.
Yeah.
Shout out to Beats then. In that case, I mean,
thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Beats. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick just went over his Morehead State Tennessee Martin play. Do you have anything in this 3:30 window, Rob, or just move her on?
Nothing.
All right, 4 o'clock, and we got a couple of games here. I know you have I know you were talking about it yesterday. I don't know if it's a sizable bet or just a regular play for you, but I was looking at Georgia Tech +2 also. I'm pretty sure you're on them, Rob, if you want to give us the 4-1-1 on that.
Oh, yeah. Listen, Georgia Tech is a team that absolutely pisses me off in terms of just they blew a game against Boston College where they had a 20-point lead. I just needed the money line. They couldn't even win outright. And then there's been some other circumstances where the Yellow Jackets have wronged me. But at the same time, Syracuse is coming off their Super Bowl win against North Carolina at North Carolina. They had 3 straight home games where they rattled off 2 of 3, but the second that they step on the road again, I think they're going to get got. And Georgia Tech, this is their first home game after 3 or 4 road games. So I think anytime you have that kind of gap in your season, that's where you can kind of start building up wins regardless of who your opponents are. I mean, Georgia Tech could knock off Duke or North Carolina or Virginia with a game like this and a spot like this. They've done it already this year as well. So I'm all over Georgia Tech. I think just take it on the money line. This isn't a spot I'm willing to dabble with the 1.5 +2. Just take money line. I'm pretty confident in that one.
Yeah, I was saying that way as well.
Same. I mean, Georgia Tech gets up for the big games, and Syracuse just beat North Carolina on the road, so you got to imagine this is a little bit bigger of a game for them too. Who doesn't like beating Syracuse too? I mean, yeah, Georgia Tech. Don't hate that. I just added it to my slip. Probably will fire on that too with you.
Well, that's gonna be my my parlay piece.
Georgia Tech.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Love it. All right. I do have a play on Maryland here, +2 against Illinois. Illinois is, they've been great, but once they hit the road, they're a little bit questionable. Congrats on beating Ohio State on the road. Tough victory to get there, but yeah, congrats on that one. Lost to Michigan State by 8. They were actually up by 8 with, I think, 6 or 7 minutes left. Allowed a 22-8, 24-8 run for Michigan State to close and cover that game for us last week. So that was nice. They lost at Northwestern in overtime by 5. They beat Michigan. Again, congrats on beating Michigan on the road. But Maryland at home, they're coming off of an Ohio State loss. Then they hit the road, beat Iowa. They lost to Rutgers at home. Sorry. Otherwise, Michigan State got them by 2. This is a team that if they lose at home, it's not by much. 3 to Rutgers, 2 to Michigan State. They did beat Illinois on the road by 9. I like the way they played. Illinois has kind of been a little suspect as of late, not covering games, keeping them close. So I think Maryland gets them here. This is a big game for Willard and company to get at home before they hit the road twice here. So this is a game they need, and I think their defense is going to show up. I think Jameer Young's going to have a big game. Julian Reese is going to play huge. I think the big thing is just going to be slowing down Coleman Hawkins, because if he's separating that defense and making Maryland step out and leave that paint open, they're just going to be killed. But if they can slow down Hawkins from stepping out and spacing that defense, I think they'll be just fine today. So give me Maryland +2. Did it move? It's 2.5 now, so whatever. But I got +2. I was going to take the money line, but Maryland does play these games where they're tight all the way to the last possession. So I will take the points with them at home here. I think they get it done, but let's play it safe and take the points.
Yeah, and it's the battle of the lefty guards here too. We got Jameer Young, Terrence Shannon. That doesn't happen very often, and there is some credence to that. I can't remember the number, but effective shooting percentage for guards goes down when it's lefty on lefty, just because comfortability defending that side of the ball. I mean, they just kind of know the moves from that side from a lefty perspective. It was some crazy stat I saw maybe like 2 years ago, and this could be totally outdated now. But it will count. It was like a 16% decrease when it's a lefty on lefty guard situation for comparatively the season shooting percentage to where they sat in those matchup situations. So it was a dope stat when I saw it. I don't know how to continue to track that, and obviously I'm not putting in the work myself to do it. But I think there's something to that. So when I saw that, I was like, all right, unders at play, 140 and a half is what I'm seeing out there. And also, I think that gives Maryland, if you're kind of eliminating Terrence Shannon, that's definitely going to help Maryland stay in this game and potentially win it.
Yeah, great fucking stat. It was only 2 years ago, so we'll just roll it over. It's gone down to 15.5% from 16, but fuck it. Yeah, no, that's a really interesting stat. That sounds like a shot quality stat if I've ever heard one. So
Might be.
I like that. And the total I'm seeing 139.5 now. So yeah, it's moving down a little bit too. So that goes along with your point. Let's go fucking Terps. Fuck Illinois. Anything we got Utah State, Colorado State and Weber State, Eastern Washington to finish off this window. Do you guys have anything in those, or just going to be games you'll be keeping an eye on? And I'm also going to go refresh my coffee. So BRB.
I'm on Utah State plus the 6.5. I do like Colorado State, especially at home, but 6.5 points is just a lot to be given this Utah State team. I think they've kind of redefined a little bit who they were coming from last season. I think last season we saw them be a pretty dominant 3-point shooting team, especially with Ashworth at the guard position, but they just are not that type of team anymore. They're mostly an interior team. They're pretty bad at the 3-point, but their defense is very, very good. I think they'll be able to limit Colorado's scoring. Not too much. I think Colorado State will still get this dub, but a 2-possession spread, I think Utah State's defense will definitely be able to keep them in. Colorado State's interior defense is about middle of the road. So I think if Utah State can play their game, get to the foul line like they've been doing, I think 6.5 is just too many points to be given this team.
I'm with you 100%. And I really like this number as of late, plus 5.5, plus 6 for road teams.
Yeah.
Just because it feels like a coverable number for a good home team who's been playing good basketball, but like it's not. Like it's a hard number to cover because that's 2 full possessions to your point, and you have to get over that hump. It's not just like you can win by 2 possessions. Like you need to win by 3 possessions to feel comfortable about covering the spread. And Utah State's going to come to play. Like they're going to be live in this game. I don't think they win this game because environment matters down the stretch in these ball games. But if it's a free throw shooting battle, you want the plus 5.5, plus 6 on your side. So I'm all over Utah State with you, brother.
Yeah, 100%. I like you said, these Mountain West teams at home usually get the job done. But yeah, 6 points is just exactly like you said. Like they got to win by 3 possessions with 6.5. Two is just not going to do it. So I think Utah State's definitely more than capable than keeping this in 2-point game down the stretch. So I like getting 6.
Yep, right there with you. And in this window, the other one that was kind of mentioned at least a little bit was Eastern Washington, Weber State. Dude, I made the statement, and it's been mainly true, I think, for the most part. But Eastern Washington, I thought they were going to run the table in conference play. I'm just pulling up their resume right now to see if that's. I think they dropped 1 in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, they dropped it to Montana State like 5 games ago. Yep. But I still think that they're going to potentially be able to run the table. They're laying 4 points here against a Weber State team that's been really high variance up and down. I almost was really tempted to bet on Eastern Washington here, but I haven't found the appropriate nudge to do so.
Yeah, I'm exactly with you. Like Weber State they're a good team. And they keep control of the ball. They don't turn it over, which is something that Eastern Washington has problems with. Neither of them really get second chance opportunities on the glass. They can both get to the free throw line. Eastern Washington, I like their offense a lot more. I think their interior and 3-point offense is much better. And Weber State's interior defense is pretty bad. So that's why I was leaning Eastern Washington, but it's just not enough. Like you said, it's just not enough of a big, edge for me to lay 4.5 with them. If it was like 3, I would be all over it, obviously. Yep. But yeah, 4.5 just seems like the right number.
Yeah, 2.5. I'm betting Eastern Washington and feeling great about it. -4, -4.5. That's where you get in the territory again that we just talked about. Of you got to feel confident about a 3-possession winner, and I just don't.
Yeah, agree. Gonna be watching it. Will not bet it. Moving to the 5 o'clock window. Baylor, West Virginia. Anybody or nothing there?
Really contemplated hard about laying it with Baylor. And I can potentially even still be talked into it. West Virginia's picked up some awesome home wins this year, but Baylor is a team, again, February is about put your eggs in the basket of coaches who maybe are underperforming from an against the spread perspective, because those teams are going to get better. Right now, Baylor's catching a lot of perception from how they started the season and getting smacked by Michigan State. I think it's starting to dissipate a little bit because they've actually been winning a lot of games here recently, and they just played tight against Kansas as well last Saturday. But I still think there's a ton of value betting Baylor down the stretch here, and West Virginia is dog shit when you can actually put the clamps on them. So I'm on Baylor. Was a near bet at 6.5. Now this line is rising, and I'm starting to. Now I'm just gonna probably stick where I'm at, but I do like that side.
Yeah, I've got no feeling it. Don't want to back West Virginia. But Baylor's also burnt me a couple times this year, so I'm not really too eager to get in bed with them either. So, yeah, I mean, but if I had to play, it would definitely be. I don't know. I feel like I would play West Virginia, but I mean, like you said, it's getting to be February and November, or getting to be November. So teams have you really got to you got to get it going at this point. Like you don't have times to dick around and toy with teams anymore. So either show up or it's kind of just Baylor's a little down this year. Positive, it's not at Foster Pavilion where weird shit happens. Their new home court is fucking wonky. So other than that, big one in this window, big game overall. Kentucky is at Auburn. Auburn is laying 8.5. Auburn is 164. This feels like an Auburn game. You just lay it. They mess up teams at home. They mess up teams at home. Why this opened only 8.5 is a little gross, but if we're looking at spreads here, Kentucky's catching 52% of bets, 68% of money, according to VSiN. That doesn't mean shit, but that's just where the money's at. 53% of the handles on Kentucky money line also. So that could be a reason for this not really going down either. But man, Kentucky, I don't like it.
Dude, there are certain teams in college basketball, whether it's Duke, North Carolina, Texas, or you're looking at the other team, Kentucky, that odds makers, when they're setting those lines, know that there's going to be automatic action on those sides. And so with their lines, they are going to be probably overinflated 90% of the time. And in this spot, Kentucky getting 8.5 points is going to look very, very tempting, especially coming off of a big win. But do not trust it. Auburn is going to smoke them motherfuckers. So, yeah, I'm all over 8.5. It's one of my bigger bets of the day. And I don't think this is something we even sweat. I think this is probably a 20-point game at half.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn just at home is a whole different animal. If this is in Kentucky, it's different, but Kentucky doesn't play defense, and you're going to go to the jungle where the college game day is there today also. So this place is going to be extra amped.
I'm pumped.
So, yeah.
That's going to be a great crowd.
The place is going to be fucking electric. The place is going to be loud as shit. And Kentucky's a bunch of sophomores and freshmen too. So we'll see how they handle this crazy environment. And when Auburn is as a team circled and they're focused on the game, they fuck them up. So yeah, this is officially my bet slip. Probably gonna fire on this too.
Do it.
Fire that game too. So 8.5. It looks like it's about to go to 9. So might as well fire on it now. But
yes,
yeah. Other words, what do we got? Vanderbilt, Tennessee, anybody or nothing in this game? I mean, there's not really Louisville, Pittsburgh. Not really a big 5 o'clock window outside of the Auburn game.
I do have a pretty sizable bet on these
Middle Tennessee.
a lot of my favorite, actually not Middle Tennessee State. We're diving deeper. Non-high profile games. We're going out to Southern versus Prairie View A&M, and listen, this conference never has a clear conference leader in terms of the conference record at the end of the year. Last year was kind of an aberration with Grambling, and sometimes there are some good Texas other teams, but the rest of it is kind of like the Big Ten every single year, where it's just a clump from 2 to 9, 2 to 8. And Southern right now is riding a little pristine of a record 9-2 in conference play, but Prairie View A&M is playing a lot better basketball, and this is typically a spot that they can pick off Southern at just historically as well. So I'm taking the +2 with Prairie View A&M, and I'm feeling very, very confident about this one. I really do like them today.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I think I bet them twice this year and they burnt me. So I'm not having this team at all, but I'll be rooting for you too. Why not? 2 points, they can get this done. This isn't not asking a lot for them to win a game as a 2-point dog at home. So Nick, anything you got any plays coming up here in this 5:36 7 o'clock window?
Nope, my slate is dead until nighttime after 5 o'clock.
All right.
I
I
think
guess
a game we're talking about would be that Indiana State Southern Illinois
I
game.
was just going to
Mhm.
ask about that. That line feels fishy. Indiana State just lost, and now you're just going to lay 5 points on the road. They're still ranked. I mean, Southern Illinois getting a ranked team to come to them. It's going to be a big game. I mean, the money line doesn't look half bad for Southern Illinois.
You're right, and it's painful. I'm a Missouri Valley fan. Like that's my favorite conference outside of the Big Ten. I grew up in Iowa. For people who don't know my background, and so Northern Iowa, those basketball teams where they, Ali Farokhmanesh and even the team that with Wes Washburn who lost against Texas A&M, blowing a 14-point lead in 45 seconds. Like I love those teams. Ben Jacobson's really endeared me to that conference, and they've had like Loyola Chicago and Wichita State over the years, and they've also had Indiana State teams that are really great, and even Drake. Just a great conference overall. But man, I was really hoping this would be a year where there would be 2 guaranteed Indiana or Missouri Valley Conference teams, and Indiana State just shit down their leg last time out against Illinois State at home when they finally got that ranked billing, and now they're catching a line like this where I think Southern Illinois is going to be very live in this game, and it just sucks because I know what's going to happen. Indiana State's going to go on a little bit of a losing skid, and it's going to come down to them winning the conference, unfortunately, to get in.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I mean, we've been on this Indiana State team. Nick more than anybody has been on this team all year. He's had the read on them from the jump. Now everybody else is getting hip and in tune to this team, and they've kind of not looked great in the last couple of games. Now obviously like long season, they're due a little slump here. So maybe they're just getting it out of their system before conference play, but I still don't like where this team's sitting at. And like I said earlier, Southern Illinois getting a very rare ranked opponent coming into their house. I think this is the game they're going to win. Like they're either going to win this game or they're going to lose by 20 because Indiana State's that pissed off and rolls them. But I would lean to the latter of Southern Illinois probably wins this game outright, in my opinion. Robbie Avila too. Everybody's loving this kid. We've known about this kid. He's been awesome. But yeah, it's just Indiana State's becoming very public now, and I like the angle of Southern Illinois getting a ranked team at home. It's Indiana State. This will be their biggest game of the year.
Yeah, this is another game that would have fit the system for an over, but the only thing that's kind of keeping me off is Southern Illinois' 3-point defense is very, very good. It's top 12 in the country, which we know Indiana State loves to just rip a bunch of threes. Their interior offense is very good too. But yeah, they're gonna, they're 10th in the country. Almost 40% of their points are coming from deep. So if Southern Illinois is going to be able to limit that, that's definitely going to be what keeps them in the game and gonna be able to limit the amount of points in the game just in general. So that's what kept me off of betting the over here. But yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. I don't really want to lay the 5 with Indiana State in the spot. I do like Southern Illinois. I've bet on them a bunch this season too. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a tough game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. And even Nick, we did some like conference tournament preview shows on my YouTube channel last year, just kind of prep for fun conference play in March Madness. And Indiana State is a team that we both loved. Like this is our darlings in the Missouri Valley Conference last year, and same thing this year. Like they lost Nice, and that was really it, and everybody else was back. So I want to believe that Indiana State can just run the table, and Drake and them can both get into the field of play. But yeah, like you guys are saying, Southern Illinois' defensive 3-point defense, that's going to be a big mitigating factor here. And also just Southern Illinois' crowd is one of the best in this conference too. So yeah, I think Southern Illinois is going to win this game. I just don't want to put money on it because my heart's not in it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the day's going. If it's been a good day and the beers have been flowing, I will probably fire on Southern Illinois. But
probably too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be a good day because I'm looking at all my bets and the lines have all moved the other way. So generally, when they move in my favor, I get boned. So fingers crossed. that today's our day. But
Agreed.
otherwise, this later window, I was eyeballing Liberty at Sam Houston State. I was looking Sam Houston State plus 4.5. Liberty on the road has not been very good this year. I think asking to lay 2 to 3 possessions with them is a little much. I really don't have much other than that. I mean, I could go look at the numbers again, like I was last night, but I don't know. Haven't been sold by this Liberty team all year, and I think them laying 4.5 on the road is kind of telling you Sam Houston's gonna keep this close and maybe even win this game. DePaul Providence, the fucking ATM that is DePaul. Is today the day? I know Providence at home's insane. I don't know who they have on deck or anything, but DePaul has just been bad. They didn't even get the fired coach bump. They played fucking worse. They scored 38 points at the game after he got fired. This team's a mess. Like, I don't think asking to lay 20 is too much. I mean, maybe even fading him first half because DePaul they're down by 20 at half almost every game, it seems like.
Yeah, Providence is gonna kick their ass, and like I won't bet DePaul unless they're at least getting 25 points, because this is like they've literally transplanted a SWAC team into the Big East Conference is what is going on here. Like, and that's how we have to view it truly, because DePaul is not this caliber of conference opponents. They're not even in like Colonial on like the CAA type territory. They're below that tier, and that's how you have to view it. So if this was, pick a random SWAC team like I don't know, Grambling. Would you be taking plus 19.5 against Providence at Providence with Grambling? Maybe, but that's how you kind of have to view it here, because DePaul is never going to be live in any of these games.
Yeah, they're a fucking dumpster fire.
Yeah, they're.
I don't even think they're going to get a good coaching hire either. I mean, DePaul used to be a solid program, but they've got so many problems and shit. I don't think anybody wants a piece of this job. Maybe you could talk someone into, you could get a coach from the SWAC to come up to DePaul, no problem. But you're not going to get anybody else to leave a Power 5 to go coach DePaul. I don't think so. They've got a lot of work to do. This program, it's been pretty damn bad.
Yeah, this would be like a Tobin Anderson hire spot, where it's like a guy who's even just trying to elevate up the ladder and get a shot. Because if he aims so high at the Big East and then he fails, like he still falls and lands on a cloud, to use a bar right there. So like, aim high and then you miss, you still landed up and end up in a spot that's getting you paid more and just a better long-term trajectory anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think there were rumors of Josh Schertz, Indiana State possibly going there, or Chris Mack, the old Louisville coach. So I don't think Schertz would take his P5 opportunity and go to fucking DePaul. But you never know. We'll see. Who knows what the contract's going to look like to lure some of these guys away. But it's a big time work in progress for DePaul, whoever takes that job.
Mm-hmm.
NC State, Clemson, anything in this? I would lean Clemson, but I really don't have a plan. This kind of feels like a game they could win by 8 or 3 points. I want no part of it personally, though.
Yeah, once Clemson's wheels kind of started to fall off, I just stopped betting on them. Like, I was riding them in the beginning of the season when they looked really hot, playing some non-con and some early conference schedule. But once those wheels kind of fell off, I just have not even bet a game they've been involved in.
Yep, they're starting to play with expectations again, and we know what happens with Clemson when they start to play with expectations, especially after this recent performance stretch. So Brad Brownell, Fade Train is back in session. They were really down, and I think that they galvanized, and kudos to the players. They have a lot of veteran leadership on that team. Brad Brownell, as much as I hate him as a win, big time games coach, like he has been there for 15 years for a reason. Like he can galvanize and win games. But this is the type of spot again where February you want to back good coaches. He's not a good coach. I think North Carolina State's live and definitely don't like Clemson by double digits like this line is potentially insinuating. And Trevor's just like, hey, you know what?
Trevor said, "Fuck it."
I'm out.
Clemson's so bad, he just
My
fucking
last
left.
straw.
Yeah, no, I had to go puke real quick. Yeah, no, I want no part of Clemson in this. Like you said, expectations equal failure for Clemson and Brunell. So
Yep.
no thank you. And also a no thank you on NC State. So
Mhm.
quick move along on there.
Exactly right. Yep.
Cal, Washington, anybody? Lee and Cal, Washington just shot like 65% or some shit yesterday. Or not yesterday. The other day whenever they played Stanford. No, that was last night. Stanford fucked me. Big time, but yeah, I would lean Cal on this one, but this line I don't think has moved since it opened, so that's a little interesting.
Yeah, this line almost feels kind of like it's asking for a stomp spot, so I'm staying away. But yeah, this is one that I literally was so indifferent on that I was like, yeah, nope, immediately disqualified for even diving into it. Not for me.
Yeah, not for me either. Stay away from this one.
To answer Dula's question here, I believe we were all leaning Florida. It's kind of just two teams going in the opposite direction. Georgia's kind of started to shit the bed when people started to love them, and Florida's kind of started to look pretty damn good. I'm gonna pull this back up, see their other results here, but they've had some decent wins as of late here. They're going, they beat Kentucky on the road. The 1 point loss to A&M, otherwise, beat Auburn. Granted, it was at home, but you still beat Auburn. It's a damn good team. And then Georgia, since they played Florida last, they lost to Florida and have dropped the next 4 games too. They've either hung in by 1 possession or they've gotten blown out by 13 points. So I would kind of lean Florida to get this done again. They went on the road, and Georgia really, if I remember right, Georgia fucking blew that game because they were up late in that game and they allowed Florida to come back, and then they lost in overtime. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I would lean Florida, and Georgia also hasn't beaten Florida since 2019. So, there's that. Golden's got these guys playing really well right now, and I don't want to fade them at all, even if it is on the road. So, lean Florida for me.
Georgia first half, Florida full game. There you go.
There it is. That'd be a nice little plus money piece too.
Yep.
Let's see here. Don't have to really go into. I guess before we get to that, Michigan State is headed to Michigan. This line's coming down. I think I saw Michigan at 6 or maybe even 6.5 last night. I'm seeing 5 now. Michigan's at home. They do have Doug McDaniels, so that is, can't really be a negative, but it's got to be tough going back and forth from not having them to having them, figuring out a game plan. Now you can throw them in there. And even for Doug, I mean, the missing games, you kind of lose that rhythm a little bit. If I remember correct, he's been fine in these games, but this feels like a huge get-up game. This is probably Michigan's biggest game left of the year just because it is their rival. And on top of that, the last time they played, Izzo got his 700th win on them, and they danced on their grave that game. That was a 19-point W at Michigan State. So I don't think Michigan has any pride. This team kind of is fugazi as shit under Juwan Howard, but this does feel like a game they kind of get up for, I think. So I don't want to fade Michigan State, but I don't want to back Michigan. Potentially maybe a Michigan first half. I know they're 9-2, I believe, first half against the spread, and then Juwan Howard goes in and tinkers at halftime and he fucks it all up. So give me, I'm not playing this, but if I had to, I would go Michigan first half. Was this +3 maybe? +2.5. And they've won, I think, 3 of them straight up. So I would lean the 2.5, but I could see them having a lead on Michigan State at halftime here, just coming out with a little bit of energy until Juwan takes him into the locker room at half.
Yeah, there's absolutely going to be a good Michigan State live bet spot in this game. And so I don't even want to dabble with this line, but this is definitely one that I'm actually going to be watching live. And contrary to popular belief, like I don't post my live bets, but I do live bets. And this is one that I have circled for find a plus money line spot for Michigan State or -1.5, -2.5 live, because I think, like you said, Juwan Howard in the second half, and with how messy this team has been, like this team eventually is going to quit on him and just on the season. And I think it's potentially in this game.
Yeah. Nope, Nick, go for it.
No. I'm just agreeing with you guys. I think, like Rob said, Michigan can come out in this first half and be competitive, and you can get a very good number on Michigan State live. I mean, we've seen Michigan. I mean, even they've obviously dropped 2 after, but that Wisconsin game, like we did a Spaces earlier in the week, and some guy came in and literally almost gave us a script of Michigan first half and then Wisconsin full game, and it almost played out. Like Michigan came out in that first half, and they're usually competitive, early on in the game, and then the wheels just fall off. So I'm with you guys to keep this on and see when we can grab a better number with Michigan State.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually not a bad look. Even a little double dip action, like Rob said, maybe Michigan first half, Michigan State full game. So, it could be a nice little juicy winner there for you. I'm not betting this game at all, but I'm intrigued. Missouri is catching 11.5 at Mississippi. I know the college experience guys are thinking Missouri could get their first SEC win here too, and I'm not entirely opposed either. Mississippi's got Mississippi State on deck, and they just had this game up. Yeah, they got Mississippi State on deck. Wrong team. All right, sorry. They have Mississippi State on deck, and they just lost on the road to South Carolina by 3, Kentucky by 8. Missouri coming home. You're coming home to play a dog shit Missouri team before you go play another rival on the road at Mississippi State. I think Missouri can probably keep this one close. They have been competitive for the most part, but they do flare out the last 5-10 minutes of the game. It's a little scary fading Chris Beard at home, but man, they got that Mississippi State game is going to be big, and that's on deck. I don't think they have two thoughts about Missouri. I think they obviously are thinking they're just going to come in and win this game by 20. I think they could probably win this game by 7-8 points, but I think Missouri will probably keep this one close. 11.5 is a lot. I know Missouri's bad, but 11.5 versus a team that you lost to by 5 last game. So when was this? Last year. So obviously a different team. Just kidding. But yeah, Missouri, dog shit team, catching 11.5. This line hasn't moved either from open. So it's kind of just sat at 11.5. So I'm gonna leave Missouri, but I'm not putting my hard-earned money on 18 that is 5-19 against the spread.
Yeah,
Dude.
I'm not going to lay the points, but I definitely don't think Missouri can win the game. I think Missouri is fucking dog shit. They really don't do anything well. Like they don't get any offensive boards. They're bad at defensive rebounding. They don't get to the free throw line. They put the other team on the free throw line a bunch. And like you said, like Chris Beard is not going to play guys. Like, I mean, obviously, we're 25 games in the season. We know this and we know him, just historically, but like he gets his guys on defense, like that, this Ole Miss team and his teams previously, like he's very emphatic about, like, you're not going to play if you're not going to try your ass off on defense. So Missouri's offense is just piss poor. So I think with as good as Ole Miss's defense is, and they can run up the score. I mean, we've seen them put 100 up in regulation on a team like Florida. I don't think Missouri is going to stop them, but it still seems like a big spread. So I won't be touching it, but if I had to, I wouldn't take points with Missouri. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Sean East is a game time decision. He probably doesn't even go for Missouri in this game. And that's, a 16 points per game score and their lifeblood on offense for shot creation. So, yeah, I don't want anything to do with Missouri here. I think this line is reflecting that he's not going to play as well. And, yeah, I think Ole Miss can pour it on here.
Yep. I mean, even with this is Missouri team that's got 2 7-footers. Jordan Butler 7 foot, Vanover's 7'5". These guys are only playing 12 to 16% of less than 24% of minutes. Sorry, they're getting used on less than 12 to 16% of the possessions used. So they have this height and advantage down low, but they don't use it. The team's just they're a huge. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Missouri this year, but yeah, no part of this game at all. I don't want it, but lean Missouri is disgusting. That is. Will Mosa says Juwan Howard could probably be the coach of DePaul for there's their P5 grad. Yeah, you're not wrong. I don't know who in their right mind would want Juwan Howard, but yeah, I mean that would be a guy who would definitely transition over to DePaul. But I don't know. Isn't DePaul a Catholic school? Or am I wrong there?
It's a private school.
Private
I don't
school.
know if
It might be Catholic, but either way, I don't think I don't even know if DePaul wants a Juwan Howard problems.
I honestly, I don't even know how much money DePaul has. Like, yeah, they're in Chicago. Yeah, they're like a lawyer school where they get a lot of high dollar boosters. But at the same time, I don't think anybody cares about this basketball program like they used to. And in the age of NIL, like, I don't think they carry any weight anymore. I think it's just a name from the past.
Yeah, I think what DePaul needs to get back is going to be that one small time coach hire who changes the culture around somehow. But I don't see where that comes from for a little while. I think DePaul is just going to be just a very, very bad team and a team that everyone's going to circle as a get right game for the next coming years. So we'll see what happens to DePaul. Throughout that. More in this window. Any Ivy League for anybody? Yale Princeton here. This will be a great game, but I've got no play. I mean, shit. If you can get point, damn, I got no props on this game. I was gonna say Danny Wolf points. Dude's fucking awesome. 7-footer that's crossing up guards and shit. I mean, he steps like he's fucking filthy. If you haven't watched Danny Wolf play, watch this Yale Princeton game tonight. He is electric. But and it's Zhang Li, I think, on Princeton. That kid's fucking awesome. This will be a fun game, but I'm not betting it.
What is the Yale Princeton line? Because last night it wasn't posted. I'm still not seeing it on DraftKings. 3.5.
I see it 3.5. Princeton's favored. Over unders 138.
Mm-hmm. It's 4 in some spots.
Shoot, I mean, I love Yale. I think this is the best team in the conference. I know Princeton's carrying a lot of weight behind them and a lot of notoriety after they went on their little run last year. But Yale is the best team in my opinion. So I'm definitely taking the points. If you want to bet that, I'd say take the points. I'd even just say take it on the money line because this is a true pick 'em, regardless of where the spread is telling you this is laying.
100%. Yeah, this will be one of the better late night window games in my opinion. This will be really fucking fun to watch. Like I said, both got great offensive weapons. Total is 138, so maybe we'll see a little bit of a slower pace game. Not be so up and down, but it'll be fun as hell to watch. I'll be watching it. Pacific Gonzaga. Pacific is absolutely horrendous, but Gonzaga, they got their big game last, I believe, after Kentucky, or was Kentucky their last game? No, yeah, LMU. They pulled away by 15. Pacific just lost by 26 at Santa Clara. So Gonzaga's got Portland on deck. It's not like they have a bigger WCC opponent. So I can see them winning this game by like 28 points, but I don't know about laying 30 with them. Pacific, they got blown out by 40 by St. Mary's, but St. Mary's plays defense. So like fucking awesome defense. And this was a 9-point game earlier this year at Gonzaga. So, this was, a 9-point game at Pacific. So I don't know about Gonzaga laying 30, but this is the time of year where they've got to crank it up.
Pacific fucking sucks, man. I hate Gonzaga, but I'll never bet on Pacific, dude. They are terrible. They've had like 2 games in the last like 6 where they've scored, I think it was like 38 and 28 or something like that. St. Mary's game you referenced, they had 28 points. Like that is
43 the last game against St. Mary's was out. Holy shit. St. Mary's has outscored them 160 to 71.
Yeah, it's disgusting. That team sucks.
In 2 games. That's 2 games.
I hate Gonzaga, but if I had to bet them, like I ain't betting Pacific, that's for sure.
I actually looked at this game because I was going to take a Gonzaga team total. It was 91.5. I think Gonzaga probably gets closer to 100, but I don't want to bet a college team to score 92 points, especially Gonzaga, who has been kind of like they'll show up or not. I mean, I guess I'm looking at this 91 against LMU, 89 Kentucky, 96 against Portland, 92 against LMU again. Pacific, they scored 82, 72, 105, 86. Like, they can do it if they wanted to, but again, 92 points is a lot to ask for a college team to do. Staying in the WCC, anyone like San Fran -8.5 today? LMU just played their fucking Super Bowl against Gonzaga, and they had them on the ropes until the final 5-10 minutes. This could be an easy letdown, and I think they might still be without some guys too. They only had 6 6 scholarship players last game, and they somehow hung in that game. I think Gonzaga was probably the same thing everyone else was thinking. All right, they're gonna get tired. We're gonna gun them out or run them out the gym at some point. Never happened. I mean, Gonzaga ended up running away and covering. I think it was 15.5 somehow. They were down like I think 10 minutes left, and they somehow covered the 15.5. So, I think LMU is probably gonna be done. Just gassed out. They just played their hearts out. Now San Fran can light you up on the scoreboard. I think it'll probably be all San Francisco here today.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly LePepe isn't playing in this game for Loyola Marymount again, and
He's
I don't
officially
know
out?
what's going on. I believe so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, and I think it might even just be me kind of basing it off of post-game comments from 2 games ago, where it seemed like it was going to be extended, like multi-week non-playing stretch for Kelly, and so I'm not really bought in there at all for the 8.5. Like you said, San Francisco also has a bunch of like NBA guys who can actually like ball, and so I like actually laying the San Francisco 8.5. Really thought about actually betting this game because Loyola Marymount, they expended everything against that Gonzaga game, and they just couldn't score a bucket in the final 8 minutes.
Yeah, I really feel bad for LMU backers. I was so close to backing LMU, but I didn't. And
I was one of
if
them.
I watched them, oh man, I feel bad, man. Fucking 10 minutes. All you need just a layup or a free throw, anything. Just somehow find the fucking net, and you couldn't do it. That's painful. But yeah, this just feels like the game they're gonna get run out the gym. San Fran can easily run it up on you, and what did San Fran do last game? They won by 1. Oh, that was the Santa Clara win.
They had
I mean,
a
you could
huge
argue
comeback.
that, but yeah, that game was fucking awesome. I grabbed plus 135 at halftime for San Francisco, and that got dicey. But holy shit, what a finish! Like the full court Leitner pass from Santa Clara, which or Leitner Jenkins throw it down there, tipped it off behind him. That was a beautiful shot. When I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm cooked. I just lost on a buzzer beater, but front ended it. So they snuck away, but I think the LMU being gassed is going to be more of an angle to attack than San Francisco coming off a crazy win. So, getting towards the end here, Arizona. Oh, go for it.
Yeah, so in this kind of time window, I have I'm taking a look at UC Irvine versus Colorado State Bakersfield, and I know that Bakersfield are your boys, Trev, but they're getting slaughtered today. Yeah, UC Irvine. What I've kind of also noticed, and this is a trend I've been picking up on, in these lower level conferences, like the mid majors and low majors, like these late time windows, these late games lead to a lot of blowouts, especially predictable blowouts. And this is one of those predictable blowouts. And I think that UC Irvine probably wins this game by like 30. It could even be like an Auburn, like replay of Auburn, South Carolina, where it's 101-61 type game. So late with UC Irvine, feel really confident about that one. I placed a pretty sizable bet on it. And yeah, I ride with the Anteaters, man.
Yeah, Bakersfield is sad, and I was chasing the dragon there with them, and I should have pulled the trigger last Friday night instead of waiting. So I pushed last week on that -2, which was fucking brutal. Buzzer beater 3, killed that 5-point lead, but that they got it, and I believe they got blown out last game, or not blown out, but they got handled last game. So I feel like they're kind of just starting that downswing of getting rocked, ending the season. There's like 4 or 5 games left before conference play, so I think they're kind of giving up here. So yeah, Irvine is a wagon too. You can't fade them. And Bakersfield fouls a shit ton, so plenty of free point opportunities. Sports Better is asking about the Eastern Kentucky team total over 75 at Bellarmine. I'm pulling this up right now, but he is saying
They've gone over 10 of their last 12. This number.
Yeah.
I can confirm. I looked.
All right. Wasn't doubting them. I'm trying to pull this.
No, I know. The only one of the two they didn't go over. They had, I think they had 75. Yeah, they beat Jacksonville 75-59. So they missed it by literally half a point. And the other one was Austin P. They had 69.
And I know you guys alluded to it in the chat, but Bellarmine is one of the slowest teams in this league.
Yeah. They're 300th in pace.
And also when you're kind of tying in the spread too, and you're seeing that how low this line is in comparison to where it probably should be, it's kind of telling you that Bellarmine is going to be the one dictating the pace, or at least that's the presumption. So I don't know. This kind of feels like a buck in the trend. It's a weird game.
Yeah. That's the only thing keeping me off is exactly what you said. Like they play so slow and it's such a low spread and total. I don't know, but like Eastern Kentucky gets a lot of offensive rebounds too. They're 68th in the country, so they should be able to get some second chance opportunities. Their 3-point offense is pretty good. It's also top 60. I don't know. We're not going to get a lot of free points from the line here to like stop the clock and get extra either, because Bellarmine, surprisingly, as bad as they are on defense, they actually don't put teams on the line a lot. And Eastern Kentucky doesn't get there themselves either. So I don't know. I mean, I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate the play. Like I think Eastern Kentucky is definitely going to be able to score. The only thing I'm worried about is just pace.
Yeah, the pace is scary. And the fact that Bellarmine knows they're not going to get much second chance opportunities, I feel like they're going to be more deliberate on offense and use that clock, run their sets, try to find the best shot. I mean, this is a Bellarmine team that has no problem sitting there and passing the ball around for 20, 25 seconds out of the shot clock. So, I would lean. I would probably lean under the 75.5 because this feels like a game they get to like 71, 69 or something, and then they'll be up by so much they'll kind of just dribble out the clock and not really give a shit at the end. So I would lean under, but Bellarmine has also given up 37% of teams' points from 3-point land. Eastern Kentucky isn't firing away like crazy from 3-point. They're only getting 31.5% from 3-point land. But when you shoot 42% and a team allows you to get off that many 3-point shots, if they're falling, they could run it up. But the pace is what it comes down to at the end of the day. And Bellarmine knowing they got to be deliberate on offense is kind of turning me away from taking an over on that. And yes, Will, I am not betting Bakersfield today. I don't know what's wrong with me, but not today. We'll take him at home maybe so they can rip our hearts out, but I am not backing them on the road.
Should we jump into the parlay and our best bets?
Yeah. I just wanted your guys' thoughts on 2 games. Real quick. Oregon State. Is this an Oregon State superpower home game? Oh shit, it's 10:50 already? Shit. All right. Never mind. Yeah, let's I've got no play in this game unless someone else does, but
I did lean towards Oregon State. I do think eventually, kind of like Michigan, they're going to quit on Wayne Tinkle at some point. The staleness is going to rub off. That that run that they had in the NCAA tournament was an aberration, and you have talent on this Oregon State team, and it's just not happening. I think Washington is going to fire Mike Hopkins in the offseason. I think Wayne Tinkle's gone from Oregon State. And I would lean towards taking the points, but also don't love it.
Fair. Yeah, this is also, I think, probably the last time Oregon State will get their chance at home against Oregon too. So I mean, maybe they'll continue playing an interstate rivalry in the non-con, but this could be the last one for a while. So I would expect Oregon State to get up for this one and then probably just shit the bed the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I guess if you guys want to go, we can go over our car or money line picks or whatever. If you guys got one, Rob, if you want to start us off, I suppose.
Yeah, so Huff started us off.
I'll fire this up on DraftKings, by the way. I'll see what the odds are.
Let me flip a coin here for Huff. Well, actually, you guys talk about your bet. I'm gonna get a coin, and we're gonna flip for Huff.
All right, let's do it. Nick, do you got a solid money line play that you're looking for this parlay?
Does it have to be a money line?
No, I mean you can do whatever you want. We've been doing money lines, but I mean. There's no rules.
Fuck.
Yeah, you can just spread our money line. Yeah, as long as it's feeling the legs.
Yeah. All right. Let's do. I'm gonna do the Northern Colorado Sacramento State over 137 for the parlay.
Wait, hold on. Let me write that down. Wait, what did you say?
Northern Colorado Sacramento State over 137.
Over 137.
Yeah. It's a system over. I think this total is a couple points too low. Actually, I think we're gonna get in the mid 140s here. Just Northern Colorado's top 30 in pace. Sacramento State is bottom 350 in pace. But Sacramento State is able to get a lot of second chance opportunities. They're actually top 30 in the country in offensive rebounding. So they'll be able to get some extra points that way. They also turn the ball over a shit ton, giving Northern Colorado, who's looking to run up the pace quickly, extra possessions as well. Northern Colorado's top 20 in interior offense. Sacramento State's interior and 3-point defense is absolutely horrible. So I think Northern Colorado is going to be able to get us potentially 80 by themselves. So I think this is a good over spot here.
Okay. I like it. And then Huff was between Iowa State money line and Vermont money line.
Yep.
So we'll do heads. No way you can see this shit, but this is heads. And we're going to call that Iowa State, and then tails is going to be Vermont here.
Yep.
All right. And we got heads. So we're taking Iowa State on the money line for Huff's leg.
Perfect.
All right. And then for me, I am all over Georgia Tech on the money line. So it would be Nicholls State here if they were still at plus 10.5. The lines come down about plus 9, so I don't want to give out plus 10.5 and people can't actually get it at this hour. So we're going to take Georgia Tech and take it on the money line here. And I got everything just kind of plugged into DraftKings, and I also got FanDuel pulled up. So we'll be able to figure out where the best lines are.
I got 961 on DK.
Okay.
What was yours, Trev?
Oh yeah, mine. I put it in the Hawaii money line.
That's right.
I like the spot for them. Two teams going in opposite directions here. Revenge spot. Yeah, give me the Rainbow Warriors today. So yeah, that's 961. I don't know what you guys find.
Yep. Give me 1 second here. Georgia Tech. All right. And if somebody wants to bring up BetMGM, we can figure out.
Oh yeah, I gotta use my phone on there. Man, I can use my phone to go on these apps, but if I go on the website, it doesn't allow me. I don't get it.
Okay,
Right.
So for all right. Oh shit. So on FanDuel it's plus 955, which hell no. That because I'm looking at DraftKings and it's plus 1412.
What the fuck?
1412 on DraftKings?
That's so far off.
Oh no. I had it I'm retarded. I had Nickel State spread plugged in there. That's on me, boys.
Oh.
Hold on.
I was gonna say, damn.
Okay. So on FanDuel, it's plus 979 is what it just moved to. And then
Okay.
DraftKings is plus 964. So right now, FanDuel is the way to go on that in terms of that there.
I'm looking on 365. There's no way it's going to be even close. It was Iowa State money line, right?
Yep. I was so confused when Huff's like, you know what? I don't want to pay that much juice for a money line. Let's go to Vermont. I was like, that's 10 cents difference.
Yeah, it's
gotta play-
967.
That line moved like crazy.
It's 967 on 365.
967.
Yeah, I can check ESPN as well.
I think I'm just gonna. We gotta get this bet off on Iowa State here in like.
I know, in like
less
5
than a minute.
seconds. Oh fuck
Yeah.
yeah! You just gotta
Yeah,
rip
so all
it,
right,
I guess.
I'm gonna rip it on FanDuel, throwing 100 on it, and then just plus 979 is what I got here. So, and Iowa State actually just got better odds. It went from 375 on the money line, minus 375 to minus 330.
Let's go.
Oh, nice.
So that's nice little like that. All right, we're in, boys. $100 to
Perfect.
win 979. So we're feeling good about that.
Let's fucking
We're
do
1-1 on these things, and I mean, I'll ride it until we lose the initial investment. It's kind of how I
it.
think,
Fuck yeah.
and I don't think we will.
We're playing with house money at this point with these parlays.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. Guys, it was a great show. We've all got our cards tweeted out and whatnot. Our socials on Twitter for the pod and all of our individual ones are in the description of this video. So go ahead and follow us there. Anything else before we get out of here, guys? We got a massive day of games. We got about 13, 14 hours of hoops ahead of us. Not to mention college
I'm excited.
baseball if you're into that too.
Not today.
It's gonna be a fun day, boys. Fun day.
Not today.
Believe baseball.
Yeah,
will be
absolutely.
weak.
Yeah, I'm not ready for baseball, but it's going to be that time of year already. Time flies.
Yeah, literally.
All right,
All right, y'all.
everyone. Thanks for popping in. Good luck winning your bets, and let's cash today, guys.
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. Yes, sir.
I almost just left the stream instead of ended it.
You did that last